Welcome to the midweek edition of Ben and Woods. Very excited to know that tomorrow at this time, barring any, travel difficulties, our friend Woodsy will be back in studio with us. Today, though, he is off, which means we've got a twofer show today for you. Sitting to my left, our executive producer always has to step it up even more when Woodsy is out. Paul Reindl. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Now, be honest. We both are looking forward to having Woods back, but knowing that we're not going to even try today to hook up any technology, find any workaround solutions to get him on the air from Hawaii, actually took a little stress out of your life this morning as we got ready for the show.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was not super fun. Just like spending like your whole afternoon trying to figure something out, and then it still doesn't work when you thought you had it. Little things like I wasn't really able to like edit any audio during our show for the last couple of days. So that wasn't great.
You dealt with it way more than I did, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
But even I was starting to get a little tired of the constant complaining from the guy on vacation in Hawaii.
Oh.
I mean, I get it. I wouldn't want to get up at 2 a.m. to work when I'm on vacation with my family either. So I understand and I sympathize. But at some point, I just kind of wanted to tear my hair out a little bit. And again, very excited to have him back in studio tomorrow. We love Woods. We miss Woods, especially in our foreplay segments every single morning. But, yeah, it was time for him to come home. That's all I'm saying. It was just time for him to come home.
On Monday afternoon when I was, filtering calls between Woods, engineering, Adam, whoever else, trying to figure all of this out. I'm like, this guy's on vacation. This is a lot of work for a guy that's on vacation right now. And I go, look, we figured it out. He's got his AirPods. Like, we got through today's show. We could probably get through tomorrow's, meaning yesterday's show. I was like, we'll be fine. Because at the end of the day, guys, I'm sick of dealing with this right now. I don't care. It's 6 o'clock on a Monday night. I'm done with this.
I want to get your observation here because I think ultimately Woods and I are both guys who just want to make sure it gets done. At the end of the day, whatever needs to get done, we get it done. Mm-hmm. But Woods does it, and anything that goes wrong, anything that's off, he's going to say something. There's always going to be like, why did it have to be this way? Or there's a complaint somewhere in there. That's fine. That's how he deals with the stress, with just the everyday minutia of having to get through it. I'm sure everybody, that deals with stuff, whether it's work or family, has their own way of getting through it. I am the opposite. I also have to deal with, everyday stuff that's annoying during my work day. But I always just very quietly just swallow it and do it. And I don't say anything at all. And I don't know which one's better. I mean, I think, as Woodsy will say, his therapist will probably tell you that Ben's just kind of seething on the inside, and it's never a good thing to just never say it. I'll just do. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine, Adam. Yeah, no problem. I'll handle it. It's fine. I'll get it done.
Thanks.
Whereas Woods is going to make a big production of it and then also get it done in the end the same way. We get to the same place. We just take different paths to get there.
I feel like I'm a pretty good blend. I'm kind of right in the middle. What I mean by that is I pick and choose my battles, whether it's management or whoever. I just I play it out in my head and I go, all right, this has happened 5 times and this has been the same 5 results. Is it really worth getting upset about for the 6th time, or is it just going to happen again for the 6th time?
And I think people would say, well, if you don't say anything, nothing's ever going to change. If you really want it to change. I don't know that either of us does. And again, if you are one who goes, oh, there's Woods complaining again, and you start rolling your eyes, I can't stress enough. The guy is he wants to get it done. He wants things done the right way. He cares about the show. He cares about the audience, cares about this station, cares about the tier ones massively. Like, you have no idea how much he cares about this. And, I appreciate that. And I think it's one of the reasons why tier ones really love listening to him in the morning. But you have to take the the bad with the good sometimes, and that's part of his process to get there. So, want to wish the Woods family safe travels today as they return stateside from their vacation. And again, we should have Woodsy in tomorrow for the full show. Got an Epic Wings, Epic Padres roundtable tomorrow from 9 to 10 o'clock as well. I do believe Tim Stauffer is going to be coming in and joining us for that show. That's what Adam told me, so looking forward to that. Paulie, how was your Tuesday, though? Anything interesting to report from your end over the last 20 hours?
Fairly boring day in that I had a late basketball game, late Tuesday night game yesterday, which sucked in every sense. I mean, it was just not fun. A 9 o'clock tip-off, we lost. It was not fun. But because of that, I wanted to just kind of take it easy during the day, knowing I'm probably not realistically falling asleep until 11:30 or so, it was about 11:45 last night, which is rough today. I was hanging out yesterday while the wife was at work and watched this movie. I don't think you've heard of it, Obsession.
I have not
just
heard of Obsession.
Came out recently. It was in theaters, did not see it. It was out on Peacock now, so I watched that. It was kind of a horror movie or a thriller, perhaps.
Okay.
Not too gory, but very much a mind warp of a movie where this guy... No spoilers, but he makes a wish that the girl that he likes would love him more than anyone else in the world. And he loves it because the wish comes true, and he loves it for a little while. But then the obsession of her love for him gets more and more extreme as time goes on, and it gets pretty trippy.
All right. So from the genre of be careful what you wish for movies. I think that's...
Purple says, Obsession was the biggest movie before the Odyssey. How have you not heard of it?
What? I'm trying to think of some other movies that are basically based on someone making a wish and then learning lessons. I feel like I've been watching these movies my entire life. Like when I was a kid, like Freaky Friday or Big with Tom Hanks.
Man.
Wishes
Classic.
he was an adult, and then all kinds of weird things happen and you learn an important lesson about appreciating what you already have because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. This is one of the most common little, gimmicks that filmmakers use to create an interesting story.
Because it will never happen.
Vice versa. Yeah, they're all kind. Aladdin. People are just chiming in our YouTube stream of movies that are based on be careful what you wish for because you may get it and it may not be what you think it's going to be at the end.
Yeah,
so.
no, Jesus in the chat says, this is a thriller. It's not a light movie.
Home Alone.
Like Home Alone. Yeah, not too bad. I don't remember anyone's face getting beaten into a brick at any point in Home Alone or Big. So there was a little bit of that. But no, great movie. The actress, Indy something, I don't know. She's pretty new on the scene, but she's got a good future for herself, I think.
All right.
Big fan. I
think I know where you're going there. So
big fan.
All right. So Paulie did that. I was, of course, once again on the anchor desk last night. I was able to successfully say my name every single time I had to do it at the start of every program. So I consider that a win after being unable to even accomplish that simple task on Monday night. So that was good. No flubs. So I was sitting at work. And one of my colleagues, one of our fellow anchors and reporters, Max Goldwasser, comes in for his evening shift. He's our night side reporter.
I like Max.
Gets in around 3:30, comes by the desk and chats me up a little bit. He just celebrated his 30th birthday. He was off the last few days, so happy birthday to Max. And he does something that you probably have people do as well. And he says, I saw this thing in sports. Did you see it yet? And I always kind of... I'm polite, so I go, I don't know. What did you see? Show it to me, knowing there's very little that I probably miss, especially when he says, I think this happened a little while ago, but it's been going around social media. I want to show it to you. Go, Paul. If I haven't seen it, Paulie's probably brought it up in a Rindle report, or Woods has brought it up in a Don't Do This. So it's unlikely to be new to me. So he shows me this video from... I believe it's like Big Ten Media Day, which was a little while ago, from the Oregon Ducks. And I go, I did not see this at all. And it was their tight end, I think Jamari Johnson, and then their quarterback, Heisman Trophy candidate Dante Moore, talking about what happens in the Oregon Ducks huddles. And I said, no, I actually have not seen this video, and I'm surprised that we did not bring it up in some sort of Rindle report or don't do this segment earlier. So
just Googled it. Media Day was like last week.
Yeah, so okay. So
last
it was
week
a few days ago, but I did not see this, and I wanted to play it for you and the Tier 1s this morning.
Okay.
Sometimes Dante farts in the huddle, and we have like a little competition of who can fart in the huddle, but I would say really everybody, but mostly Tay because he farts a lot.
How did this farting in the huddle tradition start?
Oh my gosh. Who said that? JJ. I knew it. Too much stuff is getting leaked out. You got to find ways to connect with your team, so we do that. Plain and simple, that's all. Nothing else.
Okay, all right.
This is bad.
Got to find ways to connect as a team, so they are having fart contests in the huddle.
It's a bit to build a little, team camaraderie and morale that the quarterback, to be funny, when they get in the huddle, will pass gas as loudly as he possibly can, and then other guys will follow suit. I chuckled, certainly. I mean, that is something that I would imagine if I'm Dante Moore and, probably going to be a top NFL draft pick and in the media spotlight all year. I'm not necessarily proud about getting out, but if it's working for them. My question is, there's 11 guys in the huddle. I know, like, Woods, if he would think it's hilarious. He would absolutely think it's hilarious.
I mean, to be fair, farts are always funny.
See, now that's the one thing. Does everyone think that
funny.
way? Because I don't totally think that way. They don't make me laugh the way other people do. Is there something wrong with me? Am I the only one? Like, I'm sort of like, that's kind of gross. I mean, I'm not like militant about it. I'm not going to, lose a friend over it, but it's not like, it doesn't make me laugh the way it does some other people. And if I'm the one guy in that huddle with 10 other guys and they're all just all the time passing gas, at some point I am going to get annoyed by this whole thing. I don't think I'm going to like being in the Oregon huddle if that's what goes on there.
Can you imagine how bad it must smell in that huddle?
Yeah. Unbelievable. I mean,
their
at least
locker
they're
room,
outside for the most
the
part.
team bus, are they all just, is this only in the huddle?
I hope it's only in the huddle, like out in the field away from everybody else, but still.
Because I promise you, if they're doing it in every huddle, they're probably doing it elsewhere because they think it's funny.
Giant football players, offensive linemen, who have to eat just thousands of calories a day because they're exercising so much, and I can't even imagine what their intestinal systems have to go through during the course of a football season. And I just don't know that I would be able to survive the entire season if this is what they've come up with for team camaraderie. But yeah, you guys always laugh. We'll do it kind of.
They're funny. It's funny when it's like at certain times it's funny. You can't just like, if we had a fart contest every morning at 5:55 to get fired up for the show, like I wouldn't have very much fun with that.
It's not a contest, but literally at 5:55 before the start of the show. He almost always, like, at one point, and he does the same thing every time. He'll pass gas. It's loud. You hear it, and he goes, "Uh-oh." Just like he does it every single time.
Yeah, you're right.
Doesn't he? He does it, and he thinks it's so funny every single time for whatever reason.
Oh, I mean, they say never trust a fart. Woods has talked openly on the show about trusting a fart too much, more than once.
Yes, he has.
So he really should be careful, but I digress.
I really don't trust my intestinal system at all. So I'm always just kind of clenching up all day just to make sure nothing ever gets out. Just again, as I started the show, the difference between Me and Woods. Woods lets it out,
Sure.
and I keep it in. That's like the entire difference. Otherwise, we're the same age. We got the same interest. We live a few miles apart. Even
That's
though we
the
didn't
only
know
difference
each other
between you
until
guys?
8 years ago, we're actually very similar people. But, everything else branches out from he lets it out, I keep it in. And,
Right.
Our personality differences, which are significant, are, I think, all stem
From that.
that one thing. I keep it in, he lets it out. And that is ultimately the biggest difference between Ben and Woods.
I think to put it another way, you're both similar in that I would say you're both very much introverted. For having
That is true.
several publicly outward-facing jobs, fairly introverted people. Woods is just very good at appearing to be extroverted when he's really introverted.
Yes, which makes him, of course, San Diego's concierge,
Exactly.
which I got one yesterday.
You did.
I did. And I don't
For
know.
Woods or for you?
No, for myself, which is unusual. But I had someone who just begged me. And I'd love to be able to come through, but I'm not sure if I can, which always is tough as well.
All right, let's hear it.
Begged me to see if I could get them a Mud and Don mini yacht bobblehead.
If you're getting anybody a Dawn and Mud mini yacht bobblehead, I would like one.
Oh, you would like one too.
So if you're doing this, if I can just tack on my request to the concierge here, my normal concierge is traveling today.
Well, I think all of San Diego would like a Mud and Don mini yacht bobblehead. So, should we just put every name in the chat? Just raise your hand in the YouTube chat. And
I asked before all of them.
I think the problem is that while we do often get some of the promotional giveaway items here at the station, very rarely do we see the theme game items.
I don't know if
where
we
you-
ever have.
The theme game ticket is always makes it a bit of a challenge to acquire those. So I said, I don't know that I have any inside track compared to anyone else in San Diego to get a Mud and Don mini yacht bobblehead. If you haven't bought a theme game ticket and you're not going to the actual Mud and Don mini yacht theme game, I may not be able to
I
help
don't even
in this
know if
one.
I could text Mud and he would have
I know.
one.
I don't know that I have the juice, honestly, in town. I'm not sure who does. I think there's very few people in San Diego. Eric Grupner maybe, but other than that, I don't know who has the juice to actually get you out there a Mud and Don mini yacht bobblehead.
It may
if you're
be
not,
like the hottest commodity
I think
San Diego's
so.
ever had.
it seems like it may be the most sought after limited edition theme game item that the Padres have ever given away.
I'm sure I can't do it on the spot right now. I would have to go back and really think and look hard at what's the best giveaway that San Diego, can you remember any Chargers epic giveaway where it was dude, everyone in the city is going to be trying to get a ticket to that game for that bobblehead or that whatever.
I think everyone has their different preferences. It seems like the bobbleheads have been the most popular ones, but
I think they're probably the most universally liked. Everybody either likes a bobblehead or can definitely find somebody that will enjoy a nice Padres bobblehead. But this one's just so unique. And you may not like this player or this coach or whatever, but we all love Don and Mud.
that puffer vest was insane that everyone wanted earlier this season.
That was a good one.
That was definitely a good one. But
I always liked the when they started doing the thin T-shirt or the thin sweatshirt giveaways, the hoodies. I always thought those were great. They were comfortable. They were for a baseball giveaway. Those are pretty good. A lot of times the stuff is not great and it's just got sponsors all over it. You're whatever.
They've definitely.
The quality was good.
The quality has gone so far up in recent years. I remember when I was a kid going to a game, they gave away a T-shirt. You could not wear those things. They
Right.
were so
Crusty.
cardboardy, uncomfortable, sponsor laden. It's I wouldn't even dream of wearing the things that they used to give out. And now, actually, they put together some really quality merchandise.
I forgot about
for the Padres giveaways.
The puffer vest. Now that everyone's kind of bringing that up, I did. I had a buddy that was in. He didn't even know. I don't think it was puffer vest night. He just wanted to go to the game and he was trying to get in. He's like, dude, it's a mob out here. There's guys shoving each other. Like, it's like the whole line was just like compressing on each other and pushing everyone up against it. He sent me a video. I was like, good God. So yeah, that one definitely had a lot of demand. I hope nothing like that happens on Dawn and Mud bobblehead night.
I hope not either. I mean, but since it's a theme game, it won't be for everybody.
True.
Although, I mean, can you imagine if you were at that game and other people were getting it and you weren't because you didn't have a theme game ticket?
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how many theme game tickets they have.
I don't know what the percentage of theme game versus not theme game is.
A stadium giveaway, a normal giveaway would be 40,000 people.
First
most
40,000 in attendance.
So what is a theme?
I don't know.
Is it 1,000? Is it 10,000?
I have no idea what the total number for the theme game is.
As a hobbyist in the sports collectible world, I can say that would increase the value of any Dawn and Mud bobblehead on the secondary market, being that there's only a few thousand versus
Bill
40,000.
says 5,000. Sounds like he knows what he's talking about in our chat, but
He sounds
I don't
confident.
really know. He sounds very confident.
I'll take 5,000.
I remember the days when, back at Qualcomm Stadium, normal Padre game would have about 12,000. If they did a giveaway, you might get up to 25 or 30, especially if it was a good giveaway. Now, of course, every game has almost sold out 40,000, and when you have one of the great giveaways, you got to get there early, line up. As I always said, Paul, be careful what you wish for back in the day, because you may actually get it someday, that the Padres are so popular and the giveaways are so good that people are now fighting each other and begging you to acquire these giveaway items that they can't get for themselves. So it's almost an obsession, I would say, of Padres fans.
I see what you did there.
All right, I've tied all the threads together.
I see what you did there.
I think we can wrap up foreplay and get to the rest of the show. We do have a good show planned for you today. Two of our favorite guests will be joining us. We will set the menu. We will also give you an update on yesterday's rehab appearances. Two very different stories for Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta in their appearances for the Lake Elsinore Storm. It happened about an hour after our show yesterday, so we will talk about that and then get into our Padres wrap-up, a much-needed victory, bounce-back win for your San Diego Padres last night, 9-4 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. It is all coming up next. Woodsy's on his way home. For now, you got Paulie, you got Ben. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how, on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, as a baseball fan, you know the best teams don't wait until the end of the season to make adjustments. We just saw just about every team in baseball make some trades this past week. They look at what's working, what's not, and they make changes early. That mindset matters in retirement, too. That's where Trajan Wealth can help. TRAJANwealth.com. Their fiduciary advisors work with you to review your current investments and retirement strategy, helping identify risks, inefficiencies, or opportunities you may be missing, especially in today's unpredictable market. Sometimes it's not about starting over. It's just make some smart adjustments. Trajan Wealth has offices at Liberty Station, Carlsbad, and Escondido. They work with people who want clarity instead of guesswork. So if it's been a while since you reviewed your plan, now's a great time to start. Call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1, or just take a couple of minutes online at TRAJANwealth.com. Trajan Wealth, plan smarter, dream bigger. Advisory services through Trajan Wealth LLC. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Actual client, paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
He just, here, I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please don't.
Just a little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Nothing. Now,
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's gonna hurt.
right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee
It's going to in a second.
right here.
Oh, that is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Padres back within one game of a wild card spot behind the Arizona Diamondbacks. The season series once again even between the two teams with now 5 games remaining. 2 more in Arizona tonight and tomorrow night, and then 3 in San Diego to wrap up the season at the end of September, early October. That could end up deciding the final playoff spot. So, I mean, this thing could come down to the wire, Paul.
I don't see a scenario in which the Padres just storm past everyone and cruise to the top wild card spot. So I don't think that's going to happen. So really, your choices are the Padres fall off a cliff, which we're hoping that doesn't happen. If they're in it, I don't see a scenario in which those 3 games against Arizona to wrap up the season aren't going to be super, super impactful.
Yeah, you never know, but I do get the feeling that we're heading toward a very important final 3 days of the regular season at Petco Park. Get your tickets now if they're not already sold out. Ben and Woods brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We will get into that game. Also want to talk about yesterday's rehab appearances by Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta. In fact, why don't we start there even before we get to the rest of the menu for today's show. Yesterday at 11 o'clock, we got to see Joe Musgrove back on the mound. Obviously not in a major league game, but in a game that meant something, a non-spring training game for the first time since the 2024 playoffs. And it was good to see Joe back out there for sure.
Yep.
Tried to watch some of the video on the MILB.com feed. I don't know if it was because so many people were interested, but it was janky and blurry, and you could barely make out that it was Joe on the mound. So that that was unfortunate, but he was out there. First inning, looked pretty good, struck out 2, got through the first inning quickly, ran into some trouble in the second inning, gave up a couple of hits and a run on a wild pitch, but did get out of the inning on a double play, and then got the first 2 outs in the third, and then that was it for him. They ended his day. Pitch count at 39 pitches, 22 strikes. He spoke to reporters after the game, talked about how he felt good. Didn't quite have the command he was hoping for, especially not getting ahead early with his off-speed stuff. But he said the shapes felt good, the arm felt good. Velocity-wise, he was kind of in the 93, 94 range, which is not bad. I think we've definitely seen Joe a little bit higher earlier in his career, but he threw all 6 pitches, and Joe's always been more of a pitch mix guy than just a blow you away sort of pitcher. So he used his whole repertoire and took a real good step forward toward what could be a return to the San Diego Padres rotation later this month. Now, while he was talking to reporters following his outing, in the top of the 4th inning, Nick Pivetta goes out and begins his first rehab assignment. I think he gets a couple of outs on fly balls and gives up a single, 2 outs, a couple of strikes. Everything's going well. And then he throws a pitch and just walks straight off the mound, just quickly, doesn't reach for anything, doesn't go, ow, or whatever. There's no wincing. Just walks straight off the mound and pauses for a second, and then seems to be greeted by a trainer as he's kind of walking toward the dugout, and he immediately walks off, and that's it. Obviously, my heart sunk, seeing that video, right? I mean, I think everybody's first thought was, even if it's not a major re-injury, did his elbow just go again, or
right.
He finally completely blew it out, it's a setback to the point where he's going to at least have to start over, more rest. This is probably means we're not seeing Nick Pivetta at all this season. And with his contract status up in the air, his option up in the air, we may not see Nick Pivetta in a San Diego Padres uniform again. That was my first thought. And I'm not a doomer, but even my sunny optimism couldn't really get my mind around over anything else that could have been.
Just about everything in the video that I saw from Nick Pivetta there it screamed, I'm done. You have seen it 100 times where a pitcher feels something and they walk right off, maybe in tears, maybe they're angry, whatever, where they know, crap, I just set myself back, 12 to 16 months or something like that. So I think, I don't think that's crazy. We all were thinking that. However, there was also some weird body language in the sense that, so for context, it was a 2-2 count with 2 outs, and it was a questionable ball strike call. I thought for a second, and maybe it was because I was trying to talk myself into, please don't be hurt bad. I even texted you. I was like, is it possible that he thought it was strike 3, walked off the mound because it was strike 3, and then he pauses and he looks kind of towards the umpire, it looked like, from the angle that I saw. Did he hear, no, dude, that's ball 3, not strike 3? And he goes, what? And at that point, was he embarrassed? I don't know. I don't know.
I
or
hope
was he hurt?
That's not it. I think, Nick, we have seen him. He does that kind of huff puff walk, and when he's intense when he's out on the mound.
Intense.
Really nice guy outside of the mound, but when he's out there, his nostrils flaring, and he's really intense, and he's really in his own head and focused on the game. And I don't know. So he did not speak to reporters afterwards, but Craig Stammen gave an update later in the day during his pregame media scrum at Chase Field in Arizona. And he said, it actually, after that inning, he felt like maybe something was wrong with the elbow when he threw that pitch, but gave it a few minutes and decided, you know what? No, it's feeling fine. May have been a little bit in his own head. And Joe even talked about that. That's one of the things that you battle when you're coming back, is just trusting that your elbow is going to hold up when you throw these pitches with maximum effort. And it's tough to mentally get yourself to the place. And he may have just spooked himself, maybe even unnecessarily for a moment. he went back and threw what Craig Stammen described as a full bullpen session underneath, the tunnels there at the Diamond at Lake Elsinore, threw all his pitches, threw at maximum velocity, and came out of it feeling pretty good. So
that confused me so much when I saw that. That was a curveball. I guess I won't say it was a negative thing. I was obviously a sigh of relief, but I go, wait, in what world does a guy go out and throw max effort bullpens after having to exit a game because he thought he was hurt? That seemed kind of crazy. I was like, that doesn't seem right. I was like, so maybe he was just mad that it was ball 3 and not strike 3. But you also can't do that either. And I don't think that's what Nick Pivetta was doing. I am not saying that's what I thought happened.
I would speculate, and maybe we'll hear Nick's explanation at some point. But I think he knows either he's successfully building up and will come back this season, and if he doesn't get it done now, then it's not going to happen, and he needs to take a different course, whether it's a surgery or something else to fix what's wrong with him. So I think he probably feels like if I'm ever going to press myself and test it, do it now. Because if I'd say, I don't know if I can do this, let's take another 3 weeks off, it's too late. So he is pressing himself now to try to get back for the Padres and a potential postseason run if he can do it. So he tested himself and reportedly came out of it, all right. I think, the big thing will be how does he feel today?
Right.
And, the Padres they'll get back with the team and evaluate with trainers and doctors and see how it's going. And then we'll see if Nick and Joe both make a throw session in a couple days from now and then make another rehab start, this weekend. Then we'll have an idea that they're both still on track to potentially return to the San Diego Padres rotation. So
now, it is worth noting the clause in his contract, August 22nd, I believe, was the date where if he is not healthy and back on the roster by August 22nd, then the Padres would then have the option to void out the remaining 2 years, 32 million?
Yeah, so he has a player option for next year at $14 million. If he spends a certain amount of time on the injured list, which will come to pass on August 22nd, that would then convert to a team option.
2.5 weeks from now.
Right. So if he's not back, but it doesn't necessarily change anything. If he comes back in September and pitches well and feels like he's healthy, Padres might very well want to pick up that option and keep it going. Nick Pivetta at $14 million, if he pitches anything like Nick Pivetta, is a steal.
And even if Nick Pivetta has a setback and actually never pitches another inning this season, the Padres would still have to go, all right, well, is he going to be healthy for next year? Because we don't have any pitching for next year, and we could pick him up for 2 years. I think that's going to be
one of the big stories of the offseason. Obviously, the lockout.
I don't even think it's that big of a story. $16 million for a starter in any capacity is a steal these days.
It is.
So for Nick Pivetta, I would take that.
It'll be the medical staff determining what they think really is the future. Because if you think, no, he's going to need surgery, he's going to be out we're not going to be privy to that information, but the Padres are going to have to make a big decision. Or if he comes back before August 22nd, Nick will have to make a big decision as well. Because if he thinks he's healthy and shows great stuff in the final month and a half, he may want to void his deal and become a free agent and, hit the open market and try to make more money. If he's not sure, he may want to opt in and, continue to rehab and work with the San Diego Padres. So a lot of little subplots
team
going
option
on.
Instead of a player option, instead of voiding it. It's the same thing. If the team wants to get out of the contract, if it becomes their option, they can get out of the contract. We're saying the same thing.
It is. Yeah. But, both sides will have their own motivations whether they want to keep it or not keep it.
When you look at the need for pitching that the Padres will still have on paper for next year and beyond, I think it will be very telling if during the offseason we find out that the team is able to get out of it and they do drop it like that. Even if they don't say anything, that would tell you the medicals are saying it's not worth the $30 million risk.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this. We got a couple of great guests for you today coming up at 7:35. It is a Big League Wednesday, so we will be joined by our friend and Odyssey podcaster and MLB insider Brett Boone. Plus, in our 8 o'clock hour at 8:35, our good friend and chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, Major Garrett, going to chime in with his thoughts post-trade deadline, the moves that the Padres made. We'll have a good conversation conversation with Woods out. He said he's available this week, but then he was going to be unavailable for a couple of weeks, so we wanted to sneak Major in before his schedule
He's
gets
been very
really
chatty
busy.
with us via text the last few weeks. He's got a lot of thoughts on this Padres
He's
team.
emotional. You wouldn't think it, but he's emotional like Woods. He swings from doomer to all in. Let's ride with our trade deadline acquisitions. I always find it funny to see that Major gets caught up just like everybody else in the
He's
San
one
Diego
of
Padres.
my favorite people that I get text messages from in my life, because the way he just has a way with words, that man. I mean, this is a guy that's interviewed sitting presidents. Like, he knows what he is doing in a microphone or with words. And he'll just say something like, "Gentlemen, I come to you this afternoon bearing the depths of my purple and gold soul. F them prospects. Let's ride." Like, he's all over the place. I love the man.
He's awesome. All of our guests appear on our SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It is better. Have our usual features. Don't do this. We'll play a little real or fake since Woods isn't here on a Wednesday, and maybe get some round of report headlines in our final hour. But let's check traffic, and then when we come back, we'll wrap it up. Padres 9-4 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll talk about last night's game and more coming up next year with Ben and Paulie on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's your latest traffic update.
National City 805 southbound. We have slowing from East Plaza Boulevard with on and off traffic through 94, clearing at the 8. I'm Fonseca with your San Diego traffic.
This report is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Before your next summer road trip, stop by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. With no appointment needed, it's an easy way to help keep your vehicle running at its best. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Coupons at SoCalOilChange.com.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing. Are you ready?
How did things play out in yesterday's game?
I liked last night's game.
It's time for the
Padres wrap-up
with Ben and Woods.
You guys are the voice of San Diego.
Brought to you by Hamul Casino Resort. Hey, player, the rooftop pool's open, day passes are available, and the spa is calling your name. Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
Rodriguez deals, Machado swings, laces it in the air deep down the left field line. That's going to get down, bounces up against the base of the wall. Fernando scores easily. Machado into second with an RBI double, and the Padres a 1-0 lead here in the first. Merrill swings, hits it through the right side. That's a base hit. Machado going to be waved. Carroll does not have a great arm. Here comes the throw to the plate, and he is safe as the ball gets away from McCann. Merrill slides into second base, and the Padres lead it 2-0. First pitch swinging, ground ball right back up the middle, into center and a base hit. Waldschmidt charges it. Merrill's on his way home. The throw will be cut, and an RBI single for Xander Bogaerts. It's 3-0. And Machado swings, loops it into shallow right field. That's going to get down. Carroll's got to play it on one hop. Bowen has scored. Fernando's right behind him. The throw and the tag, not in time. A 2-run bloop single for Manny Machado, and it's 5-0. Merrill hits it through the right side, base hit. Rengifo trots home. Machado wheels around to third base, and on the 10th pitch of the at-bat, Jackson Merrill makes it 6-0. And Machado chops it up the middle. That will bounce into center field and a base hit. Rengifo on his way home. He'll score. How about another for Manny Machado? RBI single, his fourth run batted into the night, and it's 7-0. As for me, lifts this one in the air to shallow left center field. That's going to get down. It's going to bounce and get cut off by Waldschmidt, but not before Merrill comes in to score. Vermeer into second base with an RBI double. His first hit of the day makes it 8-0. Swings here and hits one in the air deep to left field. Workman is going back. He's at the wall. This one gonna go. Nolan Arenado with another home run against the Pods. This one a 2-run shot against his former Rockies teammate, and it's 8-2. 1 pitch. McCann in the air deep to left field. Workman going back. This one gonna go. Second 2-run homer of the inning for the Diamondbacks. All of a sudden, it's 8-4. And Jake swings, hits it on the ground through the right side, and a base hit. Song grounding third on his way. Carroll's throw will go to third, and not in time. Fermin goes first to third on the RBI single, and the Padres re-extend the lead 9-4 on Cronenworth's third hit of the night. 1-1 to Tawa, 2 outs, nobody on in the ninth, and a ground ball up the middle, backhanded by Cronenworth. Jump throw to first is perfect, and in time to end the game. Jake Cronenworth puts on a defensive clinic here tonight, and the Padre bats do big work while Randy Vasquez throws 6 shutout innings, and the Pods even this series up with a 9-4 win at Chase Field.
Yeah, Randy pitched great. We've been using him in a little bit of a swing role, different kind of role. We needed him to start tonight, and we got out to a big lead, and he kind of went with it, threw a bunch of strikes. I think on the board it said he was 80% first pitch strikes. It makes an old pitcher real happy.
Throw out a bad half inning from German Marquez, and that was all around one of the best performances of the season by the San Diego Padres. Offense, pitching, defense. I mean, every facet of the game was sharp yesterday for the San Diego Padres, starting with the bats. Coming off a game in which they got completely shut down by Brandon Pfaadt, you go, ooh, I hope they're not sliding down into, slump territory here.
Oh, we talked about it yesterday. Eduardo Rodriguez, very good pitcher. He's had a really good year for the Diamondbacks.
No one's done that to him all year long. He's been fantastic. And not only do the Padres score 3 runs in the first inning, 3 runs in the second inning, but honestly, some of their outs were hit harder than even some of the hits. They were scorching the ball, working counts and then scorching the ball, getting a pitch to hit. He just line drive. Started out, of course, with Fernando Tatis Jr.'s double that went off Nolan Arenado's glove. Feels like in the history of Padres baseball against whether it's the Cardinals or the Rockies or whoever Nolan Arenado's playing for, he always makes that play and didn't make that play yesterday. Manny Machado then loved working the 3-0 count, green light. Scorches one to left field for the RBI double. Jackson Merrill, terrific at-bat, scorching an RBI single. Xander Bogaerts attacks a first pitch, and all of a sudden it's 3-0. And then Randy Vasquez comes out, retires the side in the bottom of the first, and then you go right back to work in the top of the second. Jake with a really nice single and at-bat. Jace Bowen with a perfect bunt to start another rally. And then with 2 outs, Manny Machado delivers that 2 RBI single, just a little blooper. Hey, that was the lucky one that fell in.
Take it.
And then another Jackson Merrill RBI single. So now it's 6-0 and really changes the equation for Randy Vasquez. And he said it even after the game. Yeah, pitching with a big lead, get ahead early. The man was a first pitch strike machine. And this is now over 10 consecutive scoreless innings for Randy Vasquez, who came in as bulk guy in his previous outing and went 4 2/3 shutout, and then goes 6 shutout innings with just 2 hits allowed. Just a walk and a strikeout, but really good work by Randy Vasquez.
What was the nugget I saw from Dennis Lin? It was first Padres pitcher, I want to say since the beginning of June, besides Michael King.
Other than Michael King,
6th inning.
Quality start. I think it's the first one since Walker Buehler on June 3rd. So, Randy was really good first couple of months of the season.
The whole starting rotation was really good the first couple of months of the season.
And then he wasn't, and he spent some time in the IL, and then he spent some time in the bullpen. But, Craig Stammen talked after the game. Manny Machado even said it. Randy has something to prove. He wants to get back into the starting rotation. Hey, they're all doing whatever needs to be done right now. Craig Stammen asked him to come in and pitch 3 innings in relief, but Randy wants to get back as a starter, wants to be one of those 5 guys. And with Casey Mize and Robbie Ray joining the rotation this week, Padres could actually have a regular rotation.
I was just going to say, we're going to have a lot less pitching chaos, which
King, Mize, Ray, Buehler, and maybe Randy Vasquez again, without any more chaos.
You got the same 3 or 4 guys, but instead of fighting for 3 or 4 spots. Now they're fighting for 1, maybe 2 spots.
Yeah, if
that's not as chaotic as we're going to throw Kyle Hart out there for an inning and we'll figure it out after that.
And then if Joe Musgrove and or Nick Pivetta comes back later, then you have a good problem on your hands and you can decide what you want to do from that point. The German Marquez inning was rough, and you started to panic a little bit when the Diamondbacks get 2-run home runs to pull closer.
Was it 8-0?
It was 8-0. Craig Stammen admitted afterwards, with a big lead, we brought German back a day earlier than normal to see if he could kind of do it, because we've been experimenting with these things to see how we can use these guys, and maybe he wasn't quite as sharp. So lesson learned. Fortunately, it wasn't one of those painful lessons that cost you a win as the Padres finish it out. Jake did make a unbelievable defensive play up the middle in that inning, even though German Marquez gave up the 4 runs. The glove flip to Seungmoon Song at second base for the force. He made another great play later, so the defense was on point. We even saw the Debut of Gage Workman coming in to replace Fernando Tatis Jr.
Tater.
Did not get a hit, but did make a couple of plays in the outfield. Xander Bogaerts did have to leave the game after fouling a ball off his foot. X-rays were negative. He says he should be good to go today, but a little bit of a scary moment. Padres, though, go on to the 9-4 win. This was the stat of the game for me. Padres went 8 for 22 with runners in scoring position. 8 for 22. The Diamondbacks went 0 for 0. They never had a runner in scoring position the entire game. 2 2-run homers with a guy on first. So Padres get the win. What does it mean? We will talk about that and the new starting rotation next year on The Fan. Padres made a pair of roster moves yesterday. They will still have more to make here in the future, but welcome to the San Diego Padres to Casey Mize, who was activated yesterday, as was Gage Workman. J.P. Sears and Rodolfo Duran were optioned down to AAA, and Craig Stammen did announce that Casey Mize will make his Padres debut tonight on the mound in Game 3 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Robbie Ray is expected to join the team, I think sometime today. Will probably be activated tomorrow ahead of Friday's start against the Houston Astros.
I saw that, and I thought, okay. And then I thought, I know it's early August, but if the Padres do lose tonight, wouldn't you want Robbie Ray to go tomorrow if he's able to on a week's rest and try to get that win against the Diamondbacks team to at least split the series? I mean, if the Padres lose tonight, tomorrow's a pretty big game for reasons that you laid out earlier this morning, coming down to the tiebreaker at the end of the year, that 3-game series. Like, I don't know. If Robbie Ray's available and ready to go and the Padres lose tonight, I think he's the guy that you need to put out there on Thursday.
Right. I think your argument works whether they win or lose tonight.
Fair enough.
It's
I'm saying
just as important
especially
to the
if
game.
they lose. Especially if they lose tonight. To split, I'm saying to split the series, I think that's got to be the move, but we'll see.
Now, I don't know if Robbie Ray is totally available. I don't think he's even with the team yet. He's working on moving his family, from San Francisco, which, I mean, I guess if it was an emergency, they can get him down there, but there is some chaos associated with the trade deadline. He's rested enough that he can pitch. I don't know how long it takes, Paul. I've never been traded. Don't know what the process is like. Obviously, Casey Mize got here and is available to pitch today, but, Robbie Ray, they're given another
Tuesday,
couple
Wednesday,
of days.
I feel like a player should be ready to go.
It could also be a
Thursday.
matchups thing. They may like the matchups against the Astros for Robbie Ray better than the ones against the Diamondbacks. That organization knows him well. He pitched there for 5 or 6 years. So there's probably a lot that goes into it. I don't know the answer, so I'm just kind of speculating. But I do acknowledge your argument that the next 2 games are really more important than any other games you're playing. So you want to give yourself the best chance to win. Padres have given themselves good chances to win, even with Walker Buehler, other guys on the mound. You should hopefully have, if Casey Mize, who has pitched deep into a lot of games this season, Robbie Ray has done even better. I think he's pitched 8 a couple of times. With him backing up on Friday, knowing you can expect a long start, you can really empty your bullpen on Thursday and go for it tomorrow in the final game of the series as well, with all your high leverage guys. You almost, yesterday would have been ideally Germán Marquez pitches the last 3 innings, and you don't use any of your bullpen. You ended up using Bradley Rodriguez for an inning and Griffin Canning for an inning. You did have Mason Miller warming up just in case. Perfect world. Guys never even get up. Marquez throws 3, and you're completely rested and ready to go for today. But you're still in pretty good shape, as good a shape as you've been in a while when it comes to your bullpen, thanks to what Randy Vasquez did yesterday. So,
it was huge.
Yeah, it was big for the San Diego Padres to get that performance, and now they still have a chance to win the series or even split the series, which not going to change things now. I said splitting on the road is fine and keep you within a game of a playoff spot, but if you can win today, do what you did against the Giants, lose the first one, win the next 3, and take the series, that would put the Arizona Diamondbacks in a tough spot, because then they know they still have to come back to Petco Park. They'd be a game behind the Padres in the wild card race after the series. You can really do some damage here if you can play well these next couple of days. Padres continue to get praise from around the league for their moves at the deadline. And, we're praising them here as well, praising A.J. Preller. But I wanted to read this quote from Robert Murray's post-trade deadline piece, because this is essentially why I kind of continued to defend A.J. Preller. People got mad a couple of weeks ago when I said I wouldn't fire A.J. Preller because I think you're probably not going to find a GM who's as good as A.J. Preller if you're now looking for someone to start over with. People got really mad at me about that. But this is essentially why I feel more comfortable with A.J. Preller than the unknown start over with a new GM guy. And this is from a rival National League evaluator. So that could be an assistant GM, that could be a scout. I don't know who it is.
An area scout.
An anonymous quote about AJ. quote, he's constantly hustling and trying to find a way to get better or cut his losses. I don't know him, but from what I hear, he has a high bar and wants accountability. When something is short of his standards, he wants answers and holds people to those standards, always looking for an edge. His style is entertaining. San Diego used to be a mid-market, and now they have one of the best fan bases in baseball because of the product he's put on the field and the excitement he has caused. That's not a Padres fan. That's not a media member in San Diego. It's not someone in the Padres organization. That is a rival evaluator who doesn't really even know AJ that well. That's his reputation around the league. And I don't know about you, Paulie, but that's what I want in my GM, in my guy running my baseball team. If I'm a fan, all he's doing is hustling and trying to find a way to get better. Does he make all the right decisions? No. He makes mistakes, a lot of them, because he's willing to gamble and risk sometimes, and he is wrong sometimes, but then he's not afraid to go back and try it again. And it's the one thing that I really love about AJ. I totally trust that what he wants more than anything else is to win, not to keep his job, not to get his next contract, not to look good in the media. He just wants to find a way to get the Padres to win. And I believe he's smart enough to do it. Has it worked out for him so far? No. You need to be smart and really, really lucky to, get your team to a World Series and make a lot of good decisions. I just don't know that anyone else out there is going to find a better way to do it or be more dedicated to it than AJ Preller, which is why I'm happy that he remains the general manager of the San Diego Padres. You can have a different opinion. Well, not going to say you can't, but that's my opinion.
Would be, well, I would say somebody that's gotten the job done would be a better fit. You know what I mean? Like somebody that has done it, because AJ Preller has probably been the longest tenured executive with the least amount of results. You know what I mean? Like 10 years is a long, or 10 plus years is a long, long time to not even have like a World Series appearance. I mean, the problem I think with AJ's entire tenure with the San Diego Padres is that his misses have been really rough. Like whether it was all the way back to, Eric Hosmer.
Fine. If you want a guy who's done it before, if Andrew Friedman is available, and the Padres can steal him from the Dodgers, I'll consider that. But you're not going to hire a World Series winning GM. You're going to hire a guy who's probably never done it before and hope that, let's completely start over. I feel like AJ Preller, is continuing to evolve. This trade deadline was very different than some of his other aggressive, yes, but in a different way.
Look, I'm mad about it. It's always interesting around here. I mean, somebody just said, "Hey, we could have Buster Posey." Yeah, 100% right. Like we could be that dumpster fire in San Francisco right now, and I'm very, very happy that we're not. I'm just saying the other side of the coin of what we're talking about here would be like you can't. I don't know. I think it's a little bit reckless to just be like, oh, there's just nobody you could possibly hire that would be better than AJ Preller.
Would you rather have a guy like what's his name, Matt Arnold, the GM of the Milwaukee Brewers, who makes a lot of good decisions on prospects, puts a solid winning team on the field every year? He hasn't won a World Series. He barely won a playoff series.
They have as much to show as we do, though. And quite frankly, they're the best team, the second best record in baseball.
But then when he has a chance to go for it at this trade deadline,
oh, I agree, 100%.
He doesn't.
Yes, he needed more AJ Preller in him.
And he would probably be considered around baseball, at least by especially the conservative teams. Like he's the gold standard. I would imagine there are teams out there that would dream of having a Matt Arnold as their GM right now. Man, the guy finds cheap talent. He wins on the field with a low payroll. That is the ideal for a lot of owners out there. Is that who you want? A guy who's not even willing to put 3 of his prospects on the line to acquire a Tarek Skubal for a chance to win the World Series? Because that would be the best guy you could have out there. I'd rather have AJ Preller. I'd rather have AJ Preller than Matt Arnold.
Said it on Tuesday morning. I would have been livid if I was a Brewers fan or said it on Monday morning because the trade happened on Saturday night. I would have been so mad if I was a Brewers fan. I'm like, what are you talking about, guys? This is the best team we've had in God knows how long. You got Jacob Mizorowski, who's all-world pitcher A and all-world 1B, is Tarek Skubal. You got a chance to pair them together. Just all it costs you is some prospects. Like I would be so mad if I was a Brewers fan. You're right. You're right about that.
So, again, that was the opinion of someone else. I just saw it yesterday and wanted to throw it out there. We're all happy right now with AJ because we think he did a good job at the trade deadline. We ride this roller coaster for years between Rockstar GM and the guy's the worst and has to be fired. Rockstar GM, the guy's the worst.
I thought
and
he had
has
a
to be fired.
good trade deadline. I don't think it has to be so extreme one way or the other. He doesn't. He didn't make a rock star move, but he did get two of the best starting pitchers that were available for a team that desperately needed starting pitching. Sure, would we have liked the bat? Of course, but I have to just trust that the trade, the move wasn't there. And I think if he would have been making a trade just to get a bat, that's when you start really overpaying.
The reality is rarely are things as black and white as fans will make them out to be. AJ's not a rock star GM, and he's not an idiot. He is, like many of them, he's somewhere in between. I look at the Dodgers fan base right now. I'm flabbergasted. And I know this is hard because my bar for Dodger fans is very low. Woodsy's is even lower. But right now, all I see are two kinds of Dodgers fans, and they're both the absolute worst at the moment. Dodgers lost their 5th game in a row yesterday. Tarek Skubal made his debut. Pitched well, but Cubs were better. Cubs are red hot. Beat them again. Dropped their 5th in a row. You have one side of Dodgers fans that are losing their minds that their team has lost 5 straight. And they're calling for coaches to be fired. They're calling for massive changes. They're saying the Dodgers failed at the deadline because they didn't upgrade at catcher. Dalton Rushing's now headed onto the injured list with surgery, and the catching situation is a mess. And they're basically panicking. They're panicking with a 5-game losing streak. Offense has been struggling lately. Dodgers have not been playing well. So you've got that side that is completely overreacting to a mediocre week for the most talented team in baseball with a pitching staff that's just ungodly good and is still by far the massive favorites to win the World Series. But what really gets me is the other side. And it's the Dodgers fans right now who seem giddy that their team has lost 5 in a row, just so they can say to the rest of us, well, look, we're not ruining baseball. I mean, we don't have that many advantages. If we did, we certainly wouldn't lose 5 games in a row. I mean, come on. They're actually happy and excited about the fact that the Dodgers are losing right now, just so they can have a point to make in their argument that the Dodgers aren't some massively favored team to win the World Series who has been able to pick up just this ridiculous talent level of roster and pitching staff that would embarrass any other team in baseball. They go, see, we lost 5 games in a row. We're pretty much the underdogs at this point. We're the plucky underdogs who overcame just a massively bad week in August to come back and win the World Series at the end.
Yeah, you're right. That made me upset. Yeah, they're not the smartest fan base, Ben. They're not.
It's one or the other. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is one or the other right now. And
fire the hitting coach. Yeah. It was fire the base coach, third base coach earlier in the year because he made like one bad decision. Yeah, that's tough.
They're pretty ridiculous right now. And the irony is that I actually want them to be winning right now because they're playing teams that are ahead of the Padres in the wild card standings, like the Cubs. It's like, can you not help us out ever at all? Just for one solitary day, help the Padres in some way in the standings? Of course not. Of course not. Whatever the Dodgers do, it's always designed to elicit the maximum pain for Padres fan base. So that's where I stand. All right, let's take a little time out. When we come back, we're going to get to Don't Do This.
Oh, man, where are we going? So many directions.
So had an incident in I believe it was the Phillies game yesterday. That was fan behavior that is unacceptable in Major League Baseball.
Don't do this.
And then we also have a promotion that is raising some eyebrows in college football. We'll get to that coming up next. Broadcasting live from our Bill House studios. We know how. Bennett Woods on a Wednesday morning on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 0000466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
7 Mile Casino is our card room. First walked in the doors about 8 years ago when we started this show, and I was blown away at how nice it was. I think I had a idea in my mind of what a card room right off the 5 freeway in Chula Vista might look like inside. I was wrong. It was upscale. Felt like I was going to a nice restaurant or club. Got windows, lights, no smoke. Beautiful patio, just great service. The dealers were friendly. Everybody, the staff there just wants you to have a really good time. You can play California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em, poker, baccarat, or pai gow. They treat their players right. And then you can go have a great meal. Sammy's Wood-Fired Pizza inside 7 Mile Casino. Not only the regular pizzas and the chopped salads and the pastas, but they have the 24/7 players menu. Not going to find it at any other Sammy's, including the Kung Pao Chicken, one of my favorite dishes in all of San Diego. Enjoy a bar, drink at the bar. There's TVs all throughout. Really is spectacular. And then it comes with a great view of San Diego Bay and Coronado and the Silver Strand. So many reasons. Grab a friend, grab a little group, head to 7 Mile Casino, make it an afternoon, make it an evening, make it an early morning, because they're also open 24/7, which you don't have a lot of options in San Diego for late night, early morning, whatever. Check it out today. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Don't Do This brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, helping San Diego homeowners and contractors fix it, build it, and enjoy it. I'll start with a DDT for myself just because I forgot we usually pay off the incorporator on Wednesday morning. Jesse did get his word, Rabdos, in late in the game, but we'll hold on to that for a little while, and we will pay it off. So stay tuned. But I want to start with a couple other baseball stories here for DDT, including one from the Phillies game yesterday. Phillies taking on the Washington Nationals. Luis Arraez making his debut after being traded from the San Francisco Giants. Got a standing ovation at Citizens Bank Park. Drove in runs in his first 2 at-bats with a single and a double, so they're very happy. Remember Luis Arraez's first game with the Padres at home? Walk-off, fantastic, very exciting. But
against the Dodgers, wasn't it? Was that against the Dodgers?
I think it was against the Dodgers, yeah. I was sitting down the third base line that game. Very, very fun night. But the don't do this from this game comes from the 7th inning when Trey Turner was at the plate, and the game had to be paused for a brief while when a green laser pointer was spotted kind of going up on Trey's jersey and up onto his face. He had to back out of the box while it happened, and umpire stopped the game. This has happened a few times in baseball over the last few years. Rarely can they find it. That's one of the problems with laser pointers. You don't necessarily see
where it's
coming from.
Yeah.
You just see the laser in the end. But it was very obvious, trying to distract. It can be dangerous, a laser pointer in the eye. Certainly
That's
when you
scary,
got
man.
a baseball, coming at you really fast, you do not want one of those distractions. By the way, at any ballpark, laser pointers are banned, and if you're caught, you could even be arrested, face fines or jail time, certainly banned from the stadium in the future. So whoever did that, a huge don't do this for the fans. Also, it's tough because with the pitch clock and everything, you don't have the unlimited, hang on, we'll figure it out. It could actually impact a game at some point if a player gets distracted, the umpire doesn't see it in time, and the pitch clock runs out or something. Then what do? You get a whole mess on your hands. So just a DDT for whatever fan caused that delay last night at Citizens Bank Park.
We'll switch over to college football. This is one of the more interesting promotions I think I've ever seen in sports, whether professional, collegiate level, minor league level. I mean, this is something. Akron football, the Akron Zips, they are running an offensive coordinator of the game promo. They released a press release yesterday saying that the University of Akron Athletics announced a new fan promotion, offensive coordinator of the game, giving one season ticket holder the first ever opportunity to script the opening drive of the football team's season home opener. Now, you will be working alongside the coach, it says. I don't know if that means, you can be in the room when the coaching staff comes up with the opening drive. I don't think you can come up and just be like, all right, let's run 3 straight Hail Marys. Let's just go for it. But in theory, that's at least what's kind of being advertised. Season ticket holders will all be entered into a lottery drawing, and they're going to draw in a few weeks. And if you're selected, you will get to go and sit down with the coaching staff and help come up with the opening drive of the season. If you refer anybody as a season ticket holder to become a season ticket holder, you get a second entry. And so that is the promotion that they are running right now to try to get some more butts in seats.
All right, couple thoughts
team.
here. Mostly probably harmless. I assume the coaches can overrule really wild plays that they don't want. We don't even have that play in our playbook. We can't run the
it's easy. Come on, figure it out.
Lateral. We don't even have that play in our playbook. I wouldn't be surprised if this is even moderately successful. Why a drawing for season ticket holders? Why not just whoever donates the most NIL money now gets to be the offensive coordinator? Hey, donate $50,000, call a series for our team. I mean,
$100,000, we'll let you run routes.
They're all looking for ways to make more money. But why I think it's a don't do this is really a no-win situation for the team. Let's say let's say it doesn't go well, obviously. Well, then you wasted a series. Everyone's going like, this was a dumb idea. The guy came in and scripted some bad plays.
Can you imagine the comment section, the message boards for like the diehards of the Akron Zips fan base? They're going, but this is why we're an unserious team.
Right. But then if it does work, that might even be worse.
Then I say the same thing. I'll say, this is why we're not a serious team. The fans are calling better plays than the OC.
Exactly. If it does work, the coaches are going to wear it. So there's just no way you're not wearing it at the end of this promotion.
Yeah.
Which makes it, I think, overall kind of a bad idea.
Probably.
But certainly has us talking Akron Zips football for the first time ever on the Ben and Woods program in San Diego. So I will give them some credit for that one. All right, finally, speaking of promotions, let's get to a little doo-doo this.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
This one's pretty fun. So I believe it's the Phillies and the Twins are playing this weekend in the Field of Dreams game in Dyersville, Iowa, in the cornfield. We've been doing this, 3 or 4 times now in Major League Baseball?
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty important game. Twins are like a game out of a playoff spot. Phillies are obviously holding the second wild card spot. In the past years, it felt like it was two teams that were totally out of it for some reason, but
and it's just
big game.
It is just one game, right? It's
just one game, not a whole series. Just a one game thing. The Phillies, as part of the Field of Dreams game promotion, though, have invited 4 players to come out and throw the ceremonial first pitch for
like Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins,
think, great. But no, they've gone a different direction. They are bringing 4 phantom ball players. These are 4 guys who got called up at some point in Phillies history, were in uniform for a game, but never got in. A la Moonlight Graham. Guys who made it to the show, but never actually got into a game. So,
wow.
The tribute, they've got Tim Gradeville, catcher, 2006. Tim Leahy, pitcher, 2008. Jeff Singer, pitcher, 2022. And Will Toffee, infielder, 2022, who all got called up, got to be in the clubhouse.
Guy got injured or something.
Was ready to go, but they never actually got into a Major League Baseball game. And they will take part as part of the ceremonial first pitch for the Field of Dreams game, which that's pretty cool, right? That's smart.
I'm just curious, the stat that just blows all of our minds is like if you took every player that ever played professional baseball, it'd be like half full Petco Park, like 22,000.
They just got over 20,000 in the last couple of years.
Right. Are you one of those 20,000 if you suit up and are on a roster, but you never actually get in a game, or do you have to register a statistic?
You have to appear in a game to be one of those actual 20,000 plus who have been in a Major League Baseball
game. So these are essentially
yeah.
career minor leaguers that maybe it was 1 or 2 or whatever, however many stints, but they got called up, never got to actually play in a game.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty smart. And
like that.
Don't and do this for a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Ben and Woods brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Why don't we hold the Incorporator payoff until our 8 o'clock reset? We'll do it after Brett Boone joins us on a Big League Wednesday. Talk to our Odyssey MLB insider post-trade deadline. Get his thoughts on all the moves, Padres, and more. Coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
He just, oh, here, I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please
Just a
don't.
little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Nothing. Now,
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing
Let's say
it's going to hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee.
It's going to in a second.
Right here.
Oh, oh, that is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Padres beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 9-4 last night. Pull within a game of the D-backs in the National League wild card race. One of their two new pitchers acquired at the trade deadline, Casey Mize, will make his debut tonight at Chase Field. And those are just some of the topics we're going to be discussing right now with our MLB Odyssey insider, Brett Boone, host of the Brett Boone podcast, featuring weekly interviews with the most notable names in baseball. Insider calls are presented by Grainger, with professional-grade products from every industry. Grainger has you covered. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. On a Big League Wednesday, we got Brett Boone with us. And, Booney, I want to ask you, because we talk about his moves all the time. We were discussing A.J. Preller, as the topic often is on this program and in this town among baseball fans.
Good morning, guys.
You live here in San Diego. What's your just overall impression of A.J. as a GM? He does it a little bit differently than everybody else, that's for sure.
He does, but at the end of the day, he wants to, going into this, and we talked about it last week, put your ownership, put your general managers, the front office in position to where it makes it tough for them not to buy. And I know AJ Preller, since I've been following him, he's always wanting to buy. He's never one of those guys wanting to subtract. A bit mysterious how he works, but I think overall, the onus at the end of the day has always got to be on the players. I think you look at the product on the field, and some of it's starting to come to fruition. I think Merrill and Machado and Tatis are starting to play like they were expected to play. You look at the bullpen, the way it's constructed, there's talent all the way up and down. It's a very good bullpen. If you get Adam back at the end of August, man, that's a good bullpen. And then last minute, there were a lot of high profile moves made headed with the Scooble, and Peralta went, then Holmes went, and I'm thinking because, I've got a little bit of a local tie living here and visiting with you guys every week. I'm like, what Padres need to address that starting pitching. It's not good enough to go to the postseason. All of a sudden, kind of last minute, he pulls in what he pulls in, and he gets Casey Mize and Robbie Ray. And I loved it. I mean, I look at both of them. They're both all-stars a year ago. They're both having really good seasons. Casey Mize, only 86 innings this season, but his strikeout to walk ratio is one of the top in the game. I think he's just a quality starter. And at the last minute, the Padres, I thought, got exactly what they needed. I don't think they needed another bat. You've got all the bats. If your bats they're going to play like this all year, you've got star power up and down the lineup. They just haven't played up to that. But I think it was calculated. I think it was tactful. And I think at the end of the day, I have a show today about the deadline and who won, everybody does it. Who won, who lost. I got Harold Reynolds coming on. And I think for me, San Diego's one of the teams that won because I think they got exactly what they needed. I think AJ identified that. It was starting pitching. I don't have to worry about anything else. And he got two pretty darn good starters in a market after Scooble that was, a step down. But that's easy to say when Scooble's one of the best in the game.
Some people will say the Padres once again overpaid, gave up, too many prospects, further depleting an already thin farm system. But there's something that I often see around trade deadline time, and you've probably seen this too, Booney. Like GMs who are convinced I will make a fair offer for what I think is a player that I'm trying to acquire. The teams that put together the fair offers, they get close to trades, but usually someone else beats them out. And AJ Preller is the one who generally beats them out and goes, I'm going to make an offer that you can't refuse. I'm going to offer you something that you have to say yes because I want your player. That's how he operates, and I think what makes him different than most of the other general managers who don't want to look bad in a trade. They don't want people to say, oh, he gave up too much, you overpaid for this. No, AJ Preller just wants the players that he wants, and he's willing to overpay to make sure that he's the one that gets them.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what is really overpaying? You break these down, and unless you have a big time knowledge of all 30 teams and their farm systems, and you have a crystal ball that can say what these prospects, and that's what they are, they're prospects, what they're going to be in the future. Well, then you're unbelievable. And because I always think behind the scenes, going with a trade, what is overpaying? What is underpaying? It's weird. You take in because there's so many factors outside of just the player. Usually it's a star player for a bunch of guys nobody's heard of, and a couple of years later we hear of them. But there's also other things that come into the equation. Can you sign them long term? How much control do you have? In the Scooble trade, it's everybody's talking about a rental. Is it a rental? If he goes to LA, maybe it's not a rental, but Scott Boras is his agent. He's probably going to go out on the free market. There's so many variables that I think it's tough to really pin down until we fast forward and let it play out a couple years into the future. What is really fair and what isn't fair? So I think the bottom line is Preller went out. He did what he had to do. You look at that team on paper, this Padres, and they've been underwhelming this year. Obviously, everybody would say that. And I think it's a lot to do with the starting pitching. If he doesn't get those two pitchers at the end, I'm sitting on the program with you today, Ben, saying, I don't believe in this. There's no way this Padre team can go anywhere this year. But you add those two, and it's a different perspective. Tough news yesterday with Pivetta walking off the mound. I saw that. But I guess he went and pitched a bullpen after that.
So we'll see. We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's anything. You kind of right now out of sight, out of mind. You just got to pretend that you're operating without him for the rest of the season. But these two guys at the top, coupled with King, and I know his last couple outings haven't been King's best of the year, but that's a pretty good 1, 2, 3, coupled with that bullpen. And then you go to the lineup, and if Machado, Merrill, Tatis, and Cronenworth swung it a lot better. He got through all that concussion and the protocol and this and that. He's back to being the Cronenworth you expect. So I think it's plenty of offense, plenty of bullpen, and now staying healthy. Man, that starting rotation got a huge boost. And I think this is definitely a playoff team now, and I'd be surprised if they weren't sitting at a game out of the wild card.
Booney, speaking of Cronenworth, did you see, as a fellow second baseman, the play
Good.
that he made yesterday behind second base and the glove flip to get the force out? Really, how hard is that play? Because Jake does that one pretty well. He can do it to first base. He can do it at second base to throw the ball while it's still in your glove and not have it get stuck or, go the wrong way. I feel like that's really hard to do.
I was wondering, if Booney remembered like any specific play, because you see one or two a year where a guy's like kind of still rolling and he somehow just flips it perfectly to his teammate, and it's always like the coolest play of the game.
Absolutely, and use it. That's like a pull shoot. That's when your parachute doesn't open and everything's in play. Pull every backup shoot you got. But I don't suggest ever using that as the norm. I see that play, and it's in a desperate time. It's do or die. No other play would work but the glove flip, because you're right. It gets stuck in the web. It can roll up on your hand. That's absolutely a do or die play. I'll tell you what, Cronenworth, since the beginning, all the offensive woes he went through this year, defensively, he's always been really, really good, and continues to make great plays, and made some plays in the ninth inning too at the end of the game last night. That do or die play, I'll tell you what I didn't do. There were very few backhand glove flips, because I felt if I could get my hand on it and even like almost like a ricochet off my hand to the fielder, I have a better chance than messing with that glove and that web to do that flip. A lot of times on a slow roller, to me, a guy bring a bunt with me to second base, and it's the last ditch effort. Yeah, that forward glove flip, that's much easier to control.
You're just kind of scooping it, yeah.
Right. That backhand glove flip it's in the wrist. It's in a weird location. It's something that I personally, I don't know if they do nowadays. I never practiced that play, so I had no idea. The front glove flip, I would practice quite a bit. But when in doubt, if there was any option to get that ball into my hand and still get the out, I always go with that because it's much more efficient. And I never make that mistake. Once I get the ball in my hand, I'm going to get it to you and give it to you a strike. So I know that. The glove flips last minute.
Talking to
Pull shoot.
Pull the shoot. That sounded bad almost, but no. Pull shoot, not something else. Insider Calls brought to you by Granger for the ones who get it done. And obviously, Woodsy not here today. He's on his way back from Hawaii. But he did send a tweet that made me chuckle yesterday. He said, "Not sure about you guys, but I sure could use another former player or national writer telling me how cool and fun what the Dodgers are doing is every 15 minutes like clockwork." I don't know about you, Booney. I'm not sitting here saying we need a salary cap. I know you're a player. You're never going to say that. I don't think baseball is broken. I think there is perfectly great parity between 29 of the teams. I do think that what the Dodgers are doing is a bit of a problem now with how many advantages they have financially, local revenue, the bankruptcy extra money, the Shohei Ohtani extra money, and now with the farm system that they can use just as much as they want to add guys like Skubal. I don't think it's good for baseball. As much as, people will want to tell me this is fun and great, I'm getting tired of it, honestly, and I don't think it's just because I'm a Padres fan, but what's your take?
Well, I personally don't think it's the greatest thing for baseball. That being said, the Dodgers really aren't doing anything illegal. And
no, they're not.
Outside of the revenue, which you talk about in that local market. First of all, everything is, you buy the Miami Marlins, you're going to pay a certain price. You buy the LA Dodgers, you buy the Yankees, you buy the Mets, you buy the Cubs, you buy the Boston Red Sox. It's a different price. Well, perks come with that sticker price. And when you pay for a lower priced franchise, you don't have the perks that the Dodgers do with the local revenue. I think they're playing within the rules. My question is, why don't other teams, with all this deferred money and with the Ohtani, it started with the Ohtani and all these superstar players and so much deferred money on the books, and everybody's kind of, the detractors complain about it. But I said, well, why don't instead of complaining about it, why don't these other teams use the same loopholes for their organization? You don't have to do it at the scale that the Dodgers do, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. And don't get me into morally, we do it the right. No, you don't. As long as you're doing it legally, I've got no problem with it. And like you opened with, you're sick of it. I'm not necessarily sick of it. I could really care less what they do, but I don't think it's the greatest thing when the Dodgers continue to pick off the best players in the game. You look at that starting rotation, and I've talked about on this show endlessly about the greatest rotations I've ever faced. In the 90s, you go to Atlanta, you got Maddox, Smoltz, Glavine, and then they bring in a fourth or a fifth every year that was top notch. And I always said that's the best rotation ever assembled. Now you look at that Dodger rotation. That's spooky. When you got Shohei, you can arguably put as a fifth starter. And with Snell, Glasnow, and Yamamoto, who I think, by the way, is one of the best technical pitchers in all of baseball. And then now add Skubal to that. It's like, wow, that's a pretty tough five. And the depth of that, that team that they put together, that roster is just far and away better than everybody else. I don't know what's going to happen. I think because of it, I think we're gonna have a problem and we're gonna have a work stoppage, unfortunately. But I'm not going to put it on the Dodgers. The Dodgers are playing within the rules, and they go out and get what they want, and they've created an atmosphere and a winning atmosphere where all the top guys kind of want to go to LA.
Just to answer your question, why don't other teams do it? I would say, Booney, why don't I just buy a $20 million mansion on the Farms golf course and pay for it in 15 years? Because I'm not going to be able to afford it in 15 years. The Dodgers can, so they can defer whatever. The Milwaukee Brewers signed someone for $800 million deferred. They may not be able to pay that bill.
MLB would step in and say,
so
you can't do this.
They can't do that. But the Dodgers can because they can afford
Here's
it.
the thing, though. Right, but here's the thing. I said at scale. I didn't say you have to do it the way the Dodgers do. You get Shohei Ohtani, they knew right away. And that's the first time we saw that $700 million. And that we'd never seen that in baseball before. And you thought, well, with what he brings to the table and the marketing value he has overseas and the eyeballs that he brings to the game, Shohei pays for himself. He's an entity that nobody else has. But who got him? The Dodgers got him. So we can't complain about, well, Shohei pays for himself and he brings in so much money. Well, other teams had the option to go out and get him, but you're right. I mean, everybody can't afford $700 million. Then you go over to the Mets, and the Mets pay Soto the same as Shohei, and everybody, for me, I was shocked. I'm like, you're paying the same for Soto, who's an awesome hitter, the same as Shohei? That doesn't make any sense to me. Well, Cohen said it doesn't matter. I bought a baseball team and I'll pay whatever I want. And as an owner, you kind of have the right to do that. He did that. Now all of a sudden it snowballs. You get to a point last year where you're paying Tucker $56 million for 1 year. You're paying Bo Bichette $42 million. Good player, but way overpriced just because you want him. Now all of a sudden the other owners around baseball, the other small markets are going, wait a minute. We just can't have a couple organizations running rogue and we can't play in the sandbox with them. I think that's why you're having this come to a head and everybody talking about a work stop.
Brett Bone on our SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking, it's better. Just wrapping up, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to talk to your brother. I liked what the Yankees, I liked what the Yankees did at the deadline and adding Luis Garcia Jr., adding Heliot Ramos, but that means I'm not a Yankees fan because they seem to hate what the Yankees did at the deadline. From everything that I saw, they didn't address their real need behind the plate. It's not enough to compete. The Boston Red Sox are the hottest team in baseball. The Rays aren't going anywhere. They seem upset. You got any thoughts on the Pinstripes?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a Tuesday or a Wednesday in New York if everybody wasn't pissed off about everything. I look at that. I look at the moves they made. I think they were smart. I mean, they're bringing up the young kid at short who made his debut last night, hit a home run. Yeah, I think Lombard they had this going into the deadline. I think they had calculated, okay, it's time to bring up our prize prospect Lombard to the big leagues. He's going to be our shortstop. And by the way, he's 21. You never know. You got to let it play out for a while. Usually you're going to hit your head a few times when you're that age, but he looks everything that's advertised. He looks really good. Garcia, this guy snuck under the radar playing in Washington. He's not just a good player. He's one of the best hitters in baseball, and I would argue a top 8 right now in the world. He's a great hitter. You got him, you got Ramos, and I think they didn't address. They tried to address the catching situation. I think they wanted the kid in Oakland. He's out for the season. Then you went to Goodman in Colorado. Colorado pulled Goodman off and said, "Oh, we're not going to trade him now." So if you're looking at a catching situation, it's like, what am I trying to address here? Bellinger went down. Okay, I addressed that. Bellinger's going to be back in a couple months. I think they did it just perfect. You got 2 bats, one really elite bat and one good bat in Ramos. You got Bellinger coming back. You're just hoping that somehow before playoff time, you get Aaron Judge back and you get Stanton back. And then you've got more than enough offense, over the top offense. I think that rotation is great. Schlittler, Cole, Rodon, Fried, and Schmidt. If you're at full capacity,
good stuff.
Still out. Is Schmidt going to come back?
Yeah, good stuff, Booney. We will talk to you again next week as we get a little closer to the final playoff push. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
There he is, Brett Boone. Insider Calls brought to you by Grainger for the ones who get it done. Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. We will come back, second half of Ben and Woods, and we will, a little delayed, pay off our incorporator from Jesse Ackler last night, and then some Real or Fake, and Major Garrett will join the program to talk more Padres baseball. All ahead on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. for Halfway Home on a Wednesday with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. I'm Ben Higgins. Woodsy is off today. He will be back tomorrow, returning from his vacation in Hawaii. Do have Paulie Reindl here. Paulie, good morning.
Good morning.
I am actually glad that I've been filling in on the anchor desk at Channel 10 this week because that keeps me stuck in the studio. And had I not been stuck in the studio yesterday, I might have been expected to do what I saw several of my television competitors in town had to do yesterday, and that was go and cover a Los Angeles Chargers practice.
I meant to ask you about that.
Yeah.
I was not even aware until later last night that they were even in town. It's not the first time they've done this now.
It's not. They've done it a
years.
couple of years. It was open to military members at USD's Torero Stadium, which I think it's a Jim Harbaugh thing. He just loves USD. He used to coach there. Wants to come down. They do still have some fans down here. Obviously, not everybody gave up on the Chargers when they moved. So I think they had a couple thousand people showed up. We did send a camera down there. And I'm fine with that decision. It was mostly to cover the tribute they did to Billy Ray Smith. They had a moment of silence, and they all wore BR decals on their helmet during practice, and they said some nice words. So we definitely covered that, and I was happy to see that, and we reported on that last night at Channel 10. Tier 1 Ricardo did tweet me about that and said, I know you guys don't like or cover the Chargers, but for us that are still fans and fans of your awesome show, this would be a great candidate for do this tomorrow. Well, I didn't give them a do this.
Not going to do that.
I will mention that, we covered it, and they were out there doing. I think they're back out today. I don't know if it's just military or season ticket holders or what it is. I mean, I think if any NFL team came to town, if the Chicago Bears came to town for a couple of days and did practice, or the Tampa Bay Bucks were here, they would draw some people because it's interesting to see a team getting ready. But I don't.
Oh, there's plenty of teams where if they just random, like how the Cowboys train in Oxnard. Like if there was, if Joe Burrow was working out here or something, it'd be weird and random. But I'd be like,
And I'm not saying the Chargers are uninteresting. They have good storylines, just like every other team with Justin Herbert and a decent chance this year in an AFC that looks pretty much up for grabs. I just treat them as one of 32 teams. They are as interesting to me as really any other team in the National Football League, and I don't have any particular loyalty. So they were here yesterday. We did cover it on a limited scale, especially because of the tribute to Billy Ray Smith. But beyond that, that was pretty much all I had to say about the Los Angeles Chargers being here yesterday.
That's more words than I had.
All right, let's pay off the incorporator. We do have a busy hour coming up. We're going to play a little real or fake, try to qualify. I don't think we have a qualifier yet, so a chance to qualify for the Muse tickets. It's a weekly grand prize. And then Major Garrett is going to be with us at the bottom of the hour to talk some Padres baseball, get his thoughts post-trade deadline as the Padres make their playoff push here in 2026. But we will start with Jesse Agler and our incorporator. We have gotten to the letter R this week, and we set Jesse up with his incorporator yesterday, Paulie. All right, we are on to the letter R in our run through the alphabet for our incorporator with Jesse Agler, getting his word that he has to incorporate into tonight's broadcast. And had a little trouble coming up with one today, but Woods found one that I think we should all enjoy. Paulie?
Rhabdomancy.
Rhabdomancy, or rhabdos, I think, is the one we actually settled
the
on.
last one.
The last one was rhabdos. Rhabdomancy is the use of a rhabdos, which is a magic wand or stick, or any stick of any sort of authority. Rhabdos, Rhabdos, Jesse, rhabdos. So,
this was another late one.
Yeah.
yesterday.
So, Jesse, I actually was texting with him during the day. I reminded him of the word. He said noun, right? I said, yeah, noun. Like rhabdomancy would be the use of a rhabdos or a rhabdos. So, he waited until what, the ninth inning?
Top of the ninth inning. Jake Cronenworth at the plate and just about to get an RBI knock.
Cronenworth facing Loizaga for the first time in his career. 1-0 pitch. And Jake swings, hits it on the ground through the right side, and a base hit. Song rounding third on his way. Carroll's throw will go to third, and not in time. Fermin goes first to third on the RBI single, and the Padres re-extend the lead 9-4 on Cronenworth's third hit of the night.
This is ultimately the answer the Padres wanted most. You give up the runs, fine, but you still have bats in your hand to do work on your own. Jake Cronenworth comes through with the knock. Padres push the lead from 4-5.
You've a Rabdo, I have a Rabdo, let's go. And the Padres now, 9 runs, 16 hits. 3 straight guys have reached to begin this 9th inning.
Repeating the incorporator words a little unique and having it really as part of an actual game highlight. Like, if you played it long enough, that actually could have been part of the highlights of the game
wrap
last
up.
night.
We cut it off after the main part of the highlight there. But had we just kept it going, you would have heard it at 6:30 this morning. I think that works. Absolutely. Jesse got it done.
So the funny thing is, what I was texting about, he actually sent me a text. He said, I went to check my Gage Workman notes from last April when he was on the Cubs. And they were facing the Cubs, and he was on the roster. And we had mentioned to Jesse and said, did you hear the story? Gage Workman's middle name is Tater. And he said that he couldn't remember that, but he said, he sure definitely had it in the notes. And he said, there's no way I didn't use it because he got in the game 2 at-bats. So there's no way, he said, I wrote that down and then didn't use it in the name. So he just said, I must have just forgotten that Gage Workman's middle name was Tater at some point in the last, year and a half or so. Since he actually did write it down at some point. It was somewhere in his brain. And I said, don't worry about it. You get older, those little tidbits and nuggets don't stick around the way they used to. But I don't know if he was able to use it again last night when Gage Workman replaced Fernando Tatis Jr. in the late innings to get Fernando off his feet with an 8-0 lead. He actually moved over to left field, I believe, and made a couple of plays out there. But that is one of the things they like about Gage Workman. His offense has been a little hit or miss. He does have power. He's had a couple of home runs, but limited at-bats on the major league level. But he's very versatile defensively. Apparently, defensively, he can play corner outfield spots. He can play in the infield. You can move him around and is a plus defender, I guess, at most of his positions as well, which makes him a pretty valuable utility guy.
I'm intrigued.
So he is on the roster for now. The question is, will he be able to stick around? Paulie asked the question off the air earlier, what is going on with Gavin Sheets? So we saw Gavin a couple of days ago when he was leaving the ballpark. He was wearing one of those boots to protect what turns out to be some plantar fasciitis he's been dealing with and playing through, trying to keep him off his feet as much as possible. Obviously you can rest him against left-handed starters, but they're going to have to make a decision at some point
Possible
whether they want to rest him a little bit and just get him off for a couple of weeks and then get him back hopefully healthy for the stretch run, or if they need his bat in the lineup, especially against right-handers. Now, the Padres will have a roster decision to make possibly later today or tomorrow about Robbie Ray. Didn't really have to make a tough decision yesterday. J.P. Sears has options, sent him down, and they sent Rodolfo Duran, the third catcher, who they've barely used it all in the last week and a half.
I didn't even know he's on the roster
to activate Gage Workman. So they got more flexible. Catching position has actually been pretty good lately. Freddie Fermin and Luis Camposano are both getting hits when they're in there, so they've been getting production. So Rodolfo Duran didn't need you now. Back to AAA he goes. Welcome Gage Workman. But when they activate Robbie Ray, then they're going to have to make a tough decision. And it can't just be putting...
They're going to have to make a decision.
Yeah, it can't just be putting Gavin Sheets on the aisle because you need to put a pitcher either down to AAA or DFA'd or on the injured list to make room for Robbie Ray. And there's not that many choices. Now that you've already sent J.P. Sears, the only guys you can option down, I believe, are Jeremiah Estrada and Bradley Rodriguez and maybe one other. But I don't think you're sending any of those guys down, which means you might have to DFA one of your, bulk starter reliever types, whether it's Griffin Canning or Herman Marquez, because they don't have options to send down to the minor leagues. which you don't seem like you're all that.
What are we talking about here?
You're all that
Are we
nervous
really
about
talking
that.
about whether or not it's oh man, are we going to be able to make room for Robbie Ray by moving Griffin Canning? Yes.
Or as we discussed yesterday, maybe someone needs an IL stint like a Wandy Peralta who's been struggling, and give him a little
If you need
break.
an IL stint, you can buy a couple of weeks and let somebody else kind of dictate their
All right,
future.
let's say that they don't do that. They keep Wandy on the roster. They keep Jeremiah. They keep Brad Glay. And it comes down to Griffin Canning or Herman Marquez. Which one are you letting go?
Canning. And
Canning.
I'm not really thinking too hard about it. I think I'm probably
Canning was more effective yesterday than Marquez was, and has
Fair
been
enough.
trending in the right direction. Marquez, I think, is obviously
yes.
more
Yesterday
veteran
he looked
experience,
good,
but if you're not going to start him, I don't know. Is Marquez someone you can bring in the late innings like yesterday?
I was gonna say I don't really want. I'd be fine if they limited Marquez's innings as well, but if I had to pick one, it's Griffin Canning, and it's not even close.
It's not obviously the biggest decision in the world. I doubt there's a ton of teams that are chomping at the bit to claim either one of them, and maybe they'd even accept a demotion to AAA in case they did need another arm later in the season. But anyway, small potatoes, I know, but is probably a decision that A.J. Preller is going to have to make here in the next 24 to 48 hours, certainly, so they can add Robbie Ray to the roster to make the start on Friday night at Petco Park.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't think there's a whole lot of sleep to be lost over that decision.
All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back,
because whoever doesn't get the axe, they're probably the first one to go if something else needs
and then
to
in,
go down.
in 2 weeks, if you get Joe Musgrove and or
Right.
Nick Pivetta back,
Then what are we talking
You got
about?
more decisions to make because you'll be in the same boat. All right, we're going to play a little real or fake when we come back with Woodsy off. It is your chance to qualify for the weekly grand prize. Tickets to see Muse at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. If you want to play our game, call now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Do that, and then Major Garrett will join us. Coming up with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Another chance to talk about 7 Mile Casino. Not only a great place to play cards, but so easy to get to, so convenient. Just hop on the 5 freeway, head south toward Chula Vista. You get off there at E, I believe, and you're already on the frontage road that runs right along the freeway. It's Bay Boulevard, and you go through the one signal, and then you pull into the parking lot right after the Rambler Motel. You pull into 7 Mile Casino, got parking right in front, and then you walk in, and the tables are right in front of you. You're sitting down. No, long walk to the back of a smoky-filled casino. No slot machines ringing, just a nice atmosphere for card players where you're going to feel comfortable, you're going to feel appreciated, and you're going to want to come back again and again and again for California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em poker, Pai Gow, and Baccarat. You're going to enjoy the meals at Sammy's at 7 Mile, the 24/7 players menu. Maybe you want to head down this weekend and try their award-winning brunch. Best in the South County, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays with some great menu items. Really kill it on the brunch at Sammy's at 7 Mile. Check it out this weekend on Saturday or Sunday, and then stick around, play some cards in a really comfortable, nice, upscale atmosphere. We know it, you know it, as 7 Mile Casino. It's just 7 minutes from downtown.
right, player. This is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? This spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort. Now open.
My goodness, Paulie, you are shining brightly.
Got a new light in
like
here.
A supernova. Paulie just plugged in a new ring light, the one, we ordered 9 weeks ago when the last one broke down, and now you're dark. You turn it off, now you're completely dark. And turn it back on, and now you are completely washed out with bright light. You're going to have to figure out the settings on that thing.
Yeah.
I just got a text. I don't even know if I want to say it because we talked earlier about how I got concierge this morning. Someone asking me if I could get them one of the Don and Mud mini yacht bobbleheads.
Well, now what are you going to do?
I just don't know. I mean, I don't think we're going to be able to hide it. So just found out. Chris Connolly with the Padres said there is another mini yacht night coming up. You probably noticed them talking about it on September 5th. And he said it might be a couple dropped off at the station tomorrow. I don't know what to do, though. I'm just going to have like 100 people like texting me today. Hey, can you hold one of those for me? I don't think we're getting like 1,000 of them. I think we're getting
Somebody's
like
already
one
asked
or
for
two
that
of
one.
them. Woods, is going to want, he's back tomorrow. He's going to say, I need 3 for Hannah and the kids. And it's like, it's not going to be any left for the rest of us. So, but apparently the rumor is there may be some mini yachts. Look in the chat already. Can I have one, please? K-Laws, we don't have enough for everybody. I'm sorry. I just don't know what to say.
Well, I could put mine up on my eBay store, and then you can get it that way.
I don't think Chris is going to be happy if he sees us selling.
Oh, did I say that out
our
loud?
Don and Mud mini yacht bobbleheads on eBay.
I would never.
I mean, we've talked about this earlier. There are a lot of Padres promotional items that are sold before you even get them. Like you buy the rights to it when someone then goes and claims it at the game, and you've already bought it from them. It's crazy. It's crazy how popular these things are. All right, we got Major Garrett coming up in just a couple of minutes at the bottom of the hour, but still looking for our first winner of the week with no Woods. Let's play a little game of real or fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods.
Yeah, you can go plow through another donut.
It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
Real or Fake, brought to you by Bail Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you, and we've got
a caller.
Which one should I go with?
Let's go with line number 2.
All right, who's this on line 2?
Is this Josh?
Josh, welcome. Would you like to
Bang.
play Real or Fake?
Yes, I would.
All right, if you can get 4 out of 7 right, you will qualify for this week's grand prize, 2 tickets to see Muse at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 29th. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com, and I'll have you muse over today's category, which has to do with Christopher Nolan. Went to see Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey over the weekend, so I thought I'd make one of my favorite filmmakers the subject of today's Real or Fake. Nolan has directed 13 feature films. I will give you a movie title. You tell me if it's a real Christopher Nolan picture or a fake I've thrown in to fool you. I don't think this should be overly difficult, but I don't know how well you know Christopher Nolan movies. Josh, you ready to play?
Let's give it a shot.
All right, no phone of friends because Paulie has all the answers. So you're on your own. Round number 1. Continuity. Real or fake Christopher Nolan film? Continuity.
Sounds fake.
It is fake, and you are on the board 1 for 1. Correct. All right, round number 2. Insomnia. Real or fake Christopher Nolan movie?
That one's real.
That is real. All right, sounds like he knows what he's talking about. All right, round number 3. Following. Real or fake Christopher Nolan movie? Following.
Fake.
No, it's actually real. It was his first one. I have not seen that one. I'm not even sure what it's about, but that one was real. That's all right. That's just one wrong. I think you're doing just fine. All right, round number 4. Passages. Real or fake Christopher Nolan movie?
Fake.
That is fake. You're now 1 away from a victory. All right, very well done. Round number 5 for the win. The Prestige. Real or fake Christopher Nolan movie?
Real.
Real. Boom. Just like that, we have our first qualifier of the week.
Easy
Josh
work.
knows his Christopher Nolan. Congratulations, Josh. Hang on the line. Paulie will get your information, get you into the drawing. Maybe you'll be the only one at the end of the week, depending on what happens tomorrow. Real
Actually,
or fake?
I think we have the pair of tickets already for the qualifier. It's not even a qualifier. If you win the tickets.
Oh, he's got
So I think we
automatically.
got
It's not
the
even a
pair of
qualifier.
tickets, yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, Josh,
And we'll have another
congratulations.
pair of tickets available
tomorrow if they win Real or Fake tomorrow, and we'll have our music category on Take on Woods coming up on Friday. Yes, Insomnia, The Prestige, Following, and Tenet was the other real one.
I haven't heard of Following or Tenet, but I do like Christopher Nolan.
Tenet's one of the weird, twisty, mind-bendery ones that he did. But Following, I had not heard of either. That one was a new one to me as well. I really enjoyed The Odyssey. Major Garrett had some thoughts on it as well. We were actually texting over the weekend because he had wanted my thoughts on it when he went to see it.
I do feel a little bit of FOMO that I haven't seen it yet. It's weird. I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not. I'm not very intrigued by the idea of the Odyssey. Like, I didn't care about the book in high school. It's not really my type of a movie. However, I really like Matt Damon as an actor, and I really like Christopher Nolan as a director. So it's got all of that working for me. Like, I'm thinking I should probably just give it a shot. Somebody explained it. They're like, well, did you watch Troy? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I did. And that was fine. Like, I was into it. So it's just an adaptation. It's an interpretation, I should say, of the Odyssey. But everyone that went and saw it that I know, they were like, go see it in IMAX. Did you see it in IMAX or regular?
It was 70 millimeter. It wasn't the IMAX, though, like the dome one.
I heard the IMAX experience for this movie in particular is unlike anything that you've ever seen.
The sound is incredible. A major pointed out, like he said, it was really, really loud. I thought maybe they just had the volume on too high at my movie theater. Like, you could feel your chair, like, rumbling through a lot of the movie. Like, the bass was that intense. Might not be for everybody, but I enjoyed it for sure. We had a story last night, actually, on Channel 10, just quickly. Sales of The Odyssey, Homer's The Odyssey, like the epic poem, the book, have skyrocketed around the world. Like, it's up like 700% in some countries, 1,000% in some parts of the UK. The audiobook's up like 300%. People are obsessed with everything the Odyssey right now. So
makes sense.
All right. Nicely played, Josh. We will take a quick timeout. When we come back, we will talk about the Padres trade deadline and more with our East Coast superfan and chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, Major Garrett. Going to join us coming up next here on San Diego's #1 sports station. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. It is 97.3 The Fan.
He just, here, I'll show you a little. Just a little.
Please don't.
Just a little bit. What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Nothing. Now,
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's going to hurt.
Right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee.
It's going to in a second.
Right here.
Oh! Oh! That is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by GL Pools, the swimming pool experts trusted by thousands of San Diegans for 20 years. Baseball season is in full swing. So is swim season. Make sure your pool is ready. Call now, mention radio for 20% off new service plans in 2026. All right, let's get right to our next guest. I know Woods is probably mad that he's missing this one today, but he's got a travel day. We are
Show
joined
goes on.
right now by 2026 Padres Fantasy Camp champion and Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, our East Coast Padres fan-in-chief. Major Garrett is with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Major, it is good to see you. How have you been?
Good morning, everyone. I'm as well as can be expected, and I'm deeply, deeply pleased with the trade deadline acquisitions. I think it was the best trade deadline that AJ's ever had because it wasn't flashy, but it was substantively valuable. And I'm not going to overhype this, but I do think it positions us well to be dangerous should we make it to the playoffs because, as Earl Weaver memorably said, momentum is tomorrow's starting pitcher.
Well, today's starting pitcher is Casey Mize, which is definitely an upgrade over whoever was going to be today's starting pitcher before the trade deadline. So, in that sense, I agree with you. I agree
by a
with
country mile. Yeah, yeah. Look, do we still need a left-handed bat? Sure, I'm sure there were lots of efforts to try to get Rafael Devers or something like that. But look, the offense is picked up. It feels trust in the clubhouse. Jackson Merrill talks about this all the time, that there's a lot of conviction and camaraderie and all that stuff matters, but offense can't carry you through the playoffs as much as or as importantly as starting pitching. And when you have decent to slightly better than decent starting pitching and the best bullpen in Major League Baseball, you are potentially dangerous. So I put us in the potentially dangerous category, which we would not be. We would not be.
So,
at all without Robbie Ray or Casey Mize. We just wouldn't.
Yeah, no, and I mostly agree with you. I think that AJ had a really good trade deadline, but you know me, I like to play a little devil's advocate. And you
Sure.
You said a really important phrase in your analysis. If the Padres make the playoffs, this gives them a chance to be dangerous. But that's still an if. There's And if they don't make the playoffs, then we're going to have to go back and say AJ made a big mistake because he could have cashed in a lot of chips at this trade deadline and given the Padres a better chance, a better farm system, a better chance to compete in the future had he gone the other direction. So we won't really know until the end of the season. If they make the playoffs, I think I agree with you 100%. They've given themselves an opportunity, and that's what you want. I loved when AJ said, I'm not going to apologize for trying to win championships here, but if he's wrong...
They're 2 games out. You can't sell.
I know, but other teams did. The Tigers are 2 games out. They sold. The Orioles are 2 games out. They sold. A lot of teams did. It's not what AJ does, but it could be a missed opportunity at the end of the season if they don't actually make the playoffs with the moves that they made here.
Benjamin, with your typical incandescent brilliance, you have landed on the number one issue, because if you had me on this show 2 weeks ago, I would have been in blazing, screeching sell mode. Absolutely from the top of my lungs. And I still am ambivalent about whether or not we should have been buyers or sellers, and here's why. We've beaten up on bad teams. We have not beaten up on playoff teams in the last 2 weeks. We just haven't. And beating up on bad teams is what average teams can do, not necessarily playoff caliber teams. And that may be that may be a false positive of how good this team is and what its upside potentially is. It was a mismatched team for 2 months, a horribly mismatched team that didn't make sense, not in the way the starting pitching was oriented and the way the offense was so unproductive. And the lineups kept shifting for obvious reasons because Craig Stammen was searching. Some might say valiantly, some might say desperately, but searching is the operative word for something that might work. So this mismatched team played 2 months of bad baseball. And the only 10 games leading up to the trade deadline said, we should be buyers because we're so much better. I'm not sure we're so much better. And to your point, Ben, if this doesn't work out, we will have again shipped off prospects. We will still be laden with expensive contracts, and we will have fallen short mortgaging something now for something. I mean, mortgaging the future for something now. And if that now doesn't materialize, there'll be double the regret.
I know it's unavoidable in baseball, Major. I hate playing the 2 weeks ago I would have said this, but today I'll say
you
this.
love playing this game.
Look, I admitted it. I'm happy with where we are. I think we have an upside, but if you'd have had me on 2 weeks ago, I would have been screaming at the top of my lungs, sell.
And
100%.
the standings makes a difference, but in overall impressions of Craig Stammen, because like 2 or 3 weeks ago, you might have said, I don't know if the Padres made the right hire here. Nice guy, but potentially over his head. And as I look today, I go, well, they fixed a lot of the problems. He's shown some creativity and open-mindedness to some different things. And now I'm starting to think, maybe this was a genius hire by A.J. Preller. I don't know. Where do you stand right now, knowing that in 2 weeks we may think the complete opposite yet again about the Padres skipper?
Yeah, I would never characterize Craig Stammen as a genius hire. However, I do really give him high marks for looking into the void, the horrific void that was our quote-unquote starting pitching rotation, and saying, this is not working, and we have to rethink, and we have to rethink radically. And he did. And he got Ruben Niebla and everyone else to rethink this and rethink it radically. How can we patch this together? What kind of combinations can we think of? And here I will give the manager tremendous credit, because he has talked earnestly about what he got in terms of communication or lack of communication as a player. And if you're going to be radical with your reorientation and your patchwork application of starters and relievers, you have to communicate that. You have to communicate it not only clearly, but with a sense of mission, that there's something in it for you to get that all-important buy-in, not just for the club, but for the individual. So in that sense, that being adaptive after coming to the conclusion that your original approach was a catastrophic failure, I give him credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, the irony here is Craig Stammen as a pitcher was a moderately effective middle reliever who probably got more out of his talent in a longer career than most guys would. And now he's basically been handed a whole platter of them and turned them all into, hey, if you can just be like me and just when we need you, come in and throw 3 innings as much as you can give us. He's turned that into an effective strategy for the last 3 weeks or so, which is pretty impressive.
Yes, again, against bad teams. That's the other caveat.
True,
but
yes.
winning is winning, and that's what counts. And I really do give him a lot of credit for the communication and the adaptation. And the long history of managing in the major leagues constantly reminds us that the most effective managers tend to be marginal players or sub-marginal players, not the greats. The greats really struggle because they're great. And greatness came not naturally to them. I would never suggest that. But their greatness gave them a sort of slight blind spot about what the difficulties other players who are trying to become great or who are never going to be great but are just trying to become better than average have meeting those new goals. And players who had to reconcile themselves to their talent that was not as great as the greats around them, but who, to your phrase, Ben, made more out of their career than you might have projected, those are the ones who I think make great managerial material. So I think there's upside for Craig Stammen. I really do. But I didn't think it was a genius hire then, and I don't think it's a genius hire now.
All right, let's talk about another bad team that's lost 5 in a row, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm kidding. Obviously not a bad team. They're the best team in baseball, even with a 5-game losing streak.
Yes.
You know, baseball owners, and they're clearly trying to sell us right now that baseball is broken. They're trying to win the hearts and minds of fans for the upcoming CBA negotiations.
It's disgusting. Like seeing the political ads that look like political ads of this is why everybody wants a salary cap.
And
blah, 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 blah,
my
blah.
contention is, Major, that for 29 teams, baseball is fine. You know, I think there's plenty of parity from everybody on down. You know, the Brewers can do it. The Yankees, they can compete against each other at a fairly reasonable level. The Dodgers are on an island of their own. And I do believe, and my take lately has been, baseball doesn't have a parity problem. They have a Dodgers problem. I don't know how to fix it, though, because I'm not a salary cap guy. You know, I think your mind could probably maybe explain it a little more to our tier ones. What do you see happening here? How do you fix it but still keep the players happy and get both sides to the table and get a deal done so we don't have to miss baseball next year?
Yeah, that I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. And I don't know the internal dynamics, but I know the owners, to Paulie's point, are selling and selling hard. And when you're selling hard, you're defensive. And owners have a lot to be defensive about. They're defensive because several owners just pocket millions of dollars and never try to compete. And that is an offense to the game. It is a grotesque offense to the game. I'm going to rake in my millions because I can for all the various things that we share in terms of allocated TV revenue and the like, but I'm not going to compete, and I'm not going to work to put a competitive club on the team, on the field. Tampa doesn't do that. Miami Marlins don't do that. Milwaukee Brewers don't do that, but some clubs conspicuously and routinely do. That's not a salary cap problem. That's an ownership problem. Look, the Dodgers are unique and uniquely positioned, I think, because of Shohei Ohtani and the singular revenue stream that legitimate global star provides to that club in terms of merchandise, visibility in Japan, and all these revenue streams that are really not dependent on, but are reflective of one transformational superstar. They didn't have those revenue streams. They had plenty of revenue streams for Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, others, justifiably, but Shohei is a complete economic alteration to everything understood. And if the Yankees had him, they would treat that revenue stream the way the Dodgers do. If the Red Sox had the Shohei Ohtani type figure, they would do the same. So that adds to their already existent ability to dominate the financial marketplace. Do I think it's going to be healthy if the Dodgers win a third consecutive World Series and everyone just assumes that going into the playoffs and it's all just a sort of slog to what everyone understands will be the reality? No, I don't think it's good for baseball. Do I think it will enhance at the margins the sense that, well, maybe there needs to be a salary cap? Perhaps. But I think sophisticated baseball fans know that the long-standing animosity between the players' union and ownership is real, and it's not make-believe. It's not made up. There is a very long history of why players simply do not believe owner representations about the betterment of the game or things like that. They just don't. And I don't know how long, if ever, it will take to erase all of those bad memories, but it's not here yet. What I do know is what we all know. Baseball is having a moment it hasn't had in 15 years. It is sexy again. Not massively sexy, but sexier than it was 5 years ago. Kids are back into it. People are watching more. The World Baseball Classic, last year's World Series, things about it have a momentum, a kind of coolness, a kind of chic that baseball hasn't had in a long time. It was basically the province of diehards like me and the kids I try to raise as diehards like me. Nobody else. It's getting a little bit of added value watching now. This is the worst, the most calamitous time for a protracted labor dispute. If people who love baseball, as players and owners say they do, understand that, they will not have what I just described, a protracted labor dispute, because it would be dreadful for the game and it would kill this very happy buzz that baseball has been enjoying for about the last 2 years.
I'm pondering your Shohei Ohtani part, which is definitely at least some of the equation when it comes to the Dodgers' advantage and the massive revenues they're taking in globally. But one thing I love about baseball, Major, is that normally one player can't make that big of a difference. They only bat once in the lineup. So if you don't surround them with good players, and then normally one player can't financially make that much of a difference. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this. I mean, Barry Bonds was huge, but he was also massively unlikable, which I think mitigated kind of the advantages that the Giants could take out of him when he was on their team.
Barry Bonds did not make the Giants a must-watch club in another country. Shohei does.
And in basketball, I don't know how much like the Bulls were allowed to keep in terms of their Michael Jordan, but this is kind of the equivalent of that, like global superstar. And obviously they won almost every year he was there the last 6 years of his career. So they certainly were able to capitalize enough on that. But you can do that in basketball.
There was not an equivalent foreign country with real economic means that was basketball crazy the way Japan is baseball crazy. That's what makes this singular. It is a country that is economically developed, that has lots of discretionary income, and a fan base that is crazy for baseball generically, massively crazy for a Japanese superstar, and the greatest superstar possibly to ever play Major League Baseball happens to be Japanese. That's a revenue stream that's untouchable.
So again, I don't know the solution to this. We'll see what happens in the offseason, but I agree with you 100%. Baseball can't afford a work stoppage, or at least, no one notices until actual games are missed. We'll miss the hot stove league, and we'll miss the pitchers and catchers reporting, but people will be fine as long as they start playing baseball in early April. If they don't, I think there's a real problem, Major. And
ultimately, the fans are still the ones that are going to get screwed on this. Like the players will eventually get paid. The owners will still definitely get paid. It's the fans that are going to probably lose some games and have a really crappy offseason. Can't wait.
Right. And why is baseball having another moment? Because baseball humbled itself and said, you know what? Our game is unwieldy. It doesn't make sense to our fans anymore. We have to change things. We have to bust through the walls of opposition from the traditionalists, of which I am proudly one. I wasn't sold on all the adaptations, but fans have responded positively to them because baseball humbled itself to reorient itself to a fan base that was dying or diminishing. Okay, good for you. Well done. Don't screw it up.
That would be nice. Don't screw it up is the advice from Major Garrett. Major, can you stick around just a few more minutes at the top of the hour? We need to take a little break.
Can.
All right, we're going to continue. Maybe a little non-baseball talk.
For me.
We'll just pick Major's brain because I enjoy doing that, especially on a day where Woods isn't here. Don't go away. We got more Ben and Woods final hour coming up. More with Major Garrett. Get to a Roundel report as well. Stick around. Ben and Woods continuing on a Wednesday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final hour of Ben Woods brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Chatting with our good friend, Major Garrett, chief Washington correspondent for CBS News. And during the break, our colleague from down the hall, country station, KSON, John Flint came in, and he was saying to me, I've been doing a lot of anchoring lately, filling in on our desk. And he said, you know, Ben, if you lived in the Midwest, you'd be a real big deal around town. Like you'd be super famous between the radio and the television. And I go, yeah, well, I mean, I already kind of am, but I don't know if I want to be super Midwest famous. But I wanted to ask you, Major, you're on the national news, regularly, and we see your face, anchor desk, Washington, in front of the White House. What is your kind of level of fame, and how do you kind of deal with it, and what's it like for you around the country? How often do you get recognized?
I would charitably characterize myself as a D-list celebrity.
Is that autographs? I mean, what are we talking about here?
I have probably in my entire career on television, which started in the year 2000, maybe been asked for an autograph 4 times.
Okay, all right. Well, then you're not constantly...
Hence the D-list celebrity
You're not
status.
Constantly beating them away with a stick.
You're just sitting there going,
no,
why the hell do you want this?
I am recognized. Sometimes people will want to approach and talk to me, and that's great. I'm delighted anyone recognizes me. I don't consider it intrusive or bothersome at all. I love it when people have either read one of my books and like them or love my show, The Takeout, because I created The Takeout. It's the one thing I've created in journalism that is entirely my own. And it's in a new incarnation now, 5 days a week on CBS News 24/7, Paramount Plus, anywhere you get over-the-top television. It's my creation. It's the one thing that I'm most responsible for in my journalistic life. So when people talk about that, I'm deeply grateful. But I would not say I am overburdened by being recognized or people regarding me as famous. And that's okay. I'm not supposed to be. I'm a journalist. I'm not supposed to be part of the story. I'm supposed to report and observe things that are of value to people so they can make their decisions about the news, not become for them something that's celebrified around the news. That's never been an aspiration of mine, and it never will be.
Speaking of delivering the news, this is mostly a personal question for me, but I've kind of been thrown into this situation of being on the anchor desk lately without a great deal of training or coaching, just kind of figuring it out on my own. What is perhaps the best piece of coaching or advice you've been given for times that you've actually needed to fill in on the anchor desk at CBS News?
So the most important piece of advice I can tell you or offer is that, especially when you're an anchor, that's what the word we use in America. The best word, I think, is the British word, presenter. I used to think it was an insult, but it's not. It's the perfect word. So many of the British words are actually right on target. Why do I think presenter is better than anchor? Because presenting is exactly what you're doing. You're holding something, and you're handing it off to someone in the audience. And the way you hold it and the way you present it matters. So that's a non-egotistical endeavor, because the thing of value is not you. The thing of value is what you hold in your hands, metaphorically, and the thing you present, which is the news. So I think a lot of people, when they sit at an anchor desk, get very egotistical, that it's about them and about what their eyes do or what their wardrobe says or their voice intonation. Those things matter, but only in service of presenting the thing that is of actual value, which is the information. Get your ego completely out of it, focus on that which you are presenting, and hand it off with confidence. That's the most important advice I can give you.
That's great advice.
That's asking a lot of Ben to push aside his ego.
The most important things. I think anchor is the perfect word for me because I'm heavy and I drag down the show. So
come on.
You've been thinking about that one, haven't you?
Okay, so that's the important stuff, delivering journalism in a great way. But the unimportant stuff, like I still cannot figure out what to do with my darn hands all the time. Like, where do I put them? I can't figure it out.
It's really bad, Major.
It's so bad, Major. They have me standing in like a big screen and like, do I put them right in front? Do I lock them? Do I hold on to a finger? Do I hold them behind my back? Nothing ever looks right, no matter what I do when I'm standing there and I don't know what to do with my hands.
Major, do you ever panic? Has anyone ever said to you two simple words, but these will freak Ben out no matter what setting he's in? It's just act natural.
Act natural. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. That is it is so useless. It borders on an insult. Okay. So because it is not natural for most people to be on camera. There are a small number of people sort of born into the idea of being on camera. They're naturals. They're sort of naturals from birth. They're constant performers. They only find their sort of meaning instead of purpose, instead of psychic balance in front of a camera. Those people are rare. Most people are not like that. I'm not like that. I gather Ben is not either. So when someone says act natural in this 100% unnatural place, that is a straight up insult. Straight up insult, because it is not only meaningless, it's impossible. So you're telling someone to do something that's impossible. So my advice to you, Ben, is, first of all, try not to think about it. Try not to imagine that everyone's watching your hands, because they're not. They don't care where your hands are. They just don't. And what I often do, because I open my show, The Takeout, standing, and I wrestle with this, I often just keep my left hand to my side and I put my right hand in my pocket. Like I'm just chatting with somebody, like I'm just at like at a cocktail party or something, because that's what I would normally do. I don't know if it works or not, but I know it calms me down, and that's all that matters. What matters is what works for you. And floor directors and other schmucks who want to give you advice, they don't mean anything. Just do what works for you, what makes you feel natural, so you can do that thing that matters the most, which is get your ego out of it and present the news.
See, Major, SD Brothers in our YouTube chat says, the only reason I tune into Channel 10 is to see what Ben's hands do. So people are, in fact, watching to see what my hands do. You're totally right, though. It's not act natural, Paulie. There's 5 cameras. There's like 40 lights. They're all pointed directly at you. There's no way to feel natural in that environment that they've created in a studio.
Right. And the best way to come close to something that is unnaturally natural, which is what you have to do, okay? Because it's never going to be 100% natural. You have to create a mind space that is unnaturally natural, is to say, I'm here. The lights are here, but the lights are not important to me. The cameras are not important to me. What I'm holding is what's important to me. And I'm going to focus on the thing that I'm holding, and I'm going to hand it off. And I'm going to hand it off with confidence. That's what you do.
I think I need to print out scripts again. We went to the paper free, everything on a laptop, because it's
definitely print out scripts.
Environmentally sensitive, but to actually have it, I could hold like paper. That would be nice. Maybe I'll switch to that going forward. All right, before
the analog life is the way to live. Trust me.
Before we let you go, Major, this is a tough part of the schedule for the Padres. Obviously, the Diamondbacks games are huge. They're tied in the season series. 5 games left, 2 today and tomorrow in Arizona, and then the last 3 in San Diego. But between them, you've got contenders coming in. The Astros this weekend. You got games against the Brewers, Yankees, and Rays coming up as well. Kind of a dangerous part of the schedule. And then in September, you've got Giants and Rockies and some of the sellers again, where you could make up some ground. But you do need to stay alive here and play some good baseball, or you could sink pretty quickly. That's the way that I kind of read the last month and a half of the season here.
August is all about what are you made of? What are you made of, Padres? Figure it out and let the world know, because you've talked about the cohesion, how everyone in the clubhouse is convicted. That's all great. Do it against teams that are actually scrapping and fighting and clawing for playoff positions, not teams scuttling along, getting ready to sell, and making yourself look better than you might otherwise be. Show what you're made of against teams that are actually really competitive and that you are likely to face under the highest pressure circumstances in the calendar, which is October.
And I don't know if you were able to stay up all night for last night's game, but I thought they did it last night. Eduardo Rodriguez has been legitimately good all year long.
Yes.
And they pounded him. I thought, obviously, Randy Vasquez pitched terrific, and the defense was, especially Jake, was phenomenal. I mean, they play like that, they will be just fine the rest of the way.
No question about it. No question about it. And very quick word on the defense. It applies in every sport. Defense travels. Defense transcends. Defense can always be there. And this team is very much devoted to its defense. And that's an important aspect of it. And I think Randy Vasquez looked around and said, wait a minute, Casey Mize and Robbie Ray are here. I have got to step it up if I want to do the thing I want to do, which is start games of value. And he showed last night that he wants to.
Major, really appreciate it. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for giving us so much time this morning.
Awesome.
And hopefully we'll have
Love
a
you
chance
guys.
to do this in September when we get a little closer, hopefully, to playoff baseball.
What's
Thank you.
real quick,
Oh, yeah.
Major? What's the latest on you personally? When are you going to be back in San Diego full time? What's the latest on the job and everything? Because you keep teasing us. You've been teasing us for about 2 years.
yes,
like, hey guys, I'm coming back. I'm coming. Trust me.
The tease will continue. I have nothing for you on that of specificity. Just know the intentions remain as ever.
It was 118 in Borrego yesterday, so you might wait a week
Love
or
it.
two at least before you come back, Major.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, I love Borrego, whatever the temperature.
It's
and
beautiful.
San Diego.
It's beautiful.
San Diego.
Thank you,
See
Major.
you guys at the end of the month.
There he
See ya.
is, Major Garrett on our SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It is better. Always so intelligent, so erudite.
I could really listen to him talk all day long.
He has a way with words.
He's so
There's No
good.
doubt about it.
He's
No
so
doubt
good.
about it. A lot of fun stuff there from Major Garrett, who, like you said, 2 weeks ago he would have been, well, like you, Paulie, sell.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were on that.
But now he's kind of done a 180 and flipped, just like the Padres have done a 180 and flipped.
They did everything that they needed to do over the last, call it month and a half, whatever. Like they turned things around and they got some help in the standings for sure. They stayed in it. It was just to the point of, how much were they going to buy or sell, if at all.
All right, 2 segments left. MLB Reach Around. We've got scores from around Major League Baseball yesterday. A lot of debuts of new players with new teams.
Yeah.
And we can get some Roundel Report headlines as well if we've got time at the end. All coming up with Ben Woods after a quick time out here. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, We Know How, on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, give you an opportunity to check out sdfatloss.com. You can go online and set up a free consultation and find out about the program that can help you lose up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. And guess what? It's not magic. I know a lot of people are looking for the magic solution. People think GLP-1s, they're magic. Oh, they are not magic. You're probably going to lose muscle and lower your metabolism. And if you ever stop taking the GLP-1 injections, you're almost certainly going to gain weight again. So you're committed to probably thousands of dollars a year every year. Where sdfatloss.com asks you to, put in a little bit of work, but they will help you with that work. Eating right for a couple of months in the right portion sizes, the right foods, good foods too. Stuff that you're normally eating, like steak and chicken and fish. That's what I ate. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. I supercharged my metabolism. So I've been able to keep that weight off for 3 years, not doing anything else. No injections, nothing like that. You're not going to get that with sdfatloss.com. So if that sounds like a plan, like you can do it for 2 months. If I can do it, I know you can do it. Sign up for that free consultation. And when you do sign up for the program, take $200 off right now with their summer special. It's sdfatloss.com. That's sdfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Well, thanks again to Major Garrett. You'd probably be unsurprised, but we got a text from Adam during the break. Very eager to see this. Did I hear that Major Garrett might be in town? Is there any chance we can get him in on a round table? I mean, I'd love that, but let's not commit Major's time already. It's coming to town to take some time off. Doesn't necessarily want to, drag himself into the studio and do an hour with the entire crew.
Major, it'll be good exposure for your brand. We'll get you some wings.
Get you some, pizza bread, breadsticks. We will have an Epic Wings commercial-free Epic Wings Padres Roundtable tomorrow from 9 to 10. Our guest will be former pitcher and Padres commentator Tim Stauffer. Used to do some of the pre- and the post-game shows. Padres. I don't know if that was the Fox Sports or Channel 4. I think Fox Sports days when he used to sit up there.
Seemed like on Sundays a lot.
Yeah. So, but he's still in town following the team, and will be good to catch up with Tim Stauffer tomorrow during our Epic Wings Epic Padres Roundtable. Of course, nothing happens in a vacuum. Padres win 9-4 and clearly pick up the game on the Arizona Diamondbacks. But what about the rest of the National League and baseball? Let's get to that right now. It is time for our MLB Reach Around. They're doing the Reach Around. They're doing the Reach Around. Everybody doing the Reach Around. Well, no one is cooling off the wild card leading Chicago Cubs, who won again yesterday, and this time they beat Tarek Skubal, who made his Dodgers debut. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, was given a quick 1-0 lead, but ended up getting outdueled by Javier Assad of the Cubs. Allowed a solo home run to Dansby Swanson. Skubal did to tie the game, and then a go-ahead, just a chopper infield single that scored a run in the 6th. But that was enough as the Cubs win again. Dodgers lose their 5th game in a row. And the Cubs remain on top of the National League wildcard race. The Phillies also maintain their 2nd position and actually expanded their lead to a game over the Diamondbacks and 2 over the Padres with a 5-0 win over the Washington Nationals. Luis Arraez made his debut in a Phillies uniform, driving in runs in his first 2 at-bats. Jesus Luzardo pitched 8 shutout innings for the Phillies, who also are playing quite well right now. Just behind the Padres in the wild card standings, the Marlins did lose 4-2 to the Braves as Grant Holmes threw 6 shutout innings. So the Marlins now a game behind the Padres and 2 games behind the Diamondbacks in the wild card race. The Yankees blanked the Cardinals 2-0. Talked a little bit about that earlier. Yesterday, we mentioned George Lombard Jr. was going to make his debut.
Not bad.
Pretty impressive. So
not bad.
Had his family in attendance. So I think in like the first inning, made a really nice double play, like in the hole, great throw to second to start a double play. And then hit a home run later in the game. Solo shot, his first hit, his first home run in support of 6 shutout innings from Ryan Weathers as the Yankees beat the Cardinals 2-0. Had his family there, but his family wasn't able to totally focus in because apparently his younger brother, who was, I think, a recent draft pick, made his minor league debut on the same night and also hit a home run for whatever minor league team he was competing for. So big night for the Lombard family.
Jacob Lombard.
So
had his first home run.
Both on the same night. That was pretty cool. The Pittsburgh Pirates fell to the Milwaukee Brewers 4-2. Andrew Vaughn and Jackson Churio both hit solo home runs as the Pirates fall a game under 500. No one can slow down the Boston Red Sox. My goodness. They're now, I think it's 29-5 in their last 34 games and 15-3 since the All-Star break. Wilyer Abreu hit 2 home runs as they clubbed the White Sox 14-2. And, you know, I mean, they were dead and buried. This is basically a month ago, a little over a month, 34 games in an All-Star break. So call it a month and a week. They were dead and buried and clearly sellers at the deadline. They're now 5 games up on a playoff position and in the second wild card spot, like cruising to the playoffs from 1 month ago. I mean, that's how much things have changed for the Boston Red Sox.
They're coasting into the playoffs now.
Obviously, big buyers at the deadline, adding Adley Rutschman from the Baltimore Orioles. The Houston Astros went from clear sellers early in the season. Now they are pulling away in the American League American League West as they won again yesterday over the Toronto Blue Jays 7-2. Taylor Trammell, one-time prospect of the San Diego Padres for a hot minute, hit a 3-run home run for the Astros in that one. Houston will be at Petco Park this weekend. The Kansas City Royals welcome Bobby Witt Jr. back from the injured list with 3 hits and 2 runs batted in. They beat the Minnesota Twins 8-2, so the Twins losing some ground in the American League wildcard race. The Mets over the Guardians 6-2. Luis Torrens and Bo Bichette both with solo home runs for the Mets. The Reds were 5-4 winners over the Athletics. The A's continue to struggle, now 4-13 since the All-Star break, and that was their 6th loss in a row. The Orioles beat the Angels 3-1. Pete Alonso with a 2-run single, and you know, even though they traded away Adley Rutschman and were definitely sellers at the deadline, they're very much in it. I'll go through the standings in just a second in the American League, but it's still pretty wide open for that last playoff spot. The Tigers blanked the Mariners 8-0. Troy Melton with 7 shutout innings. Throw the Tigers in the same mix as the Orioles. Sellers, get rid of Skubal, get rid of Mize. Melton steps up, throws 7 shutout innings. They're not out of the wild card race. The Rangers finally got a win, 5-4 over the Giants. Needed a walk-off double by Ezekiel Duran in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the Rays did not get a very good debut from their big trade deadline acquisition. Freddie Peralta allowed 7 runs. It was at Coors Field, but a bad start. But the Rays rallied and won it 9-7 in 11 innings, and they got a grand slam from their other new acquisition, Liam Hicks, the catcher they got from the Marlins. So they ended up coming back to win that game yesterday. So taking again a look at the playoff standings in both the National and the American League, the Cubs continue to lead the NL wildcard race. They are 5 games up on the Phillies and 6 games up on the Diamondbacks. So they continue to cruise and should be in good shape for a playoff spot. Their run differential is almost plus 100. So, Cubs are a legitimately good team. The Phillies at 61 and 53, they're just a plus 4 run differential and are just a game ahead of the Diamondbacks. The Padres, of course, now 1 game behind Arizona. The Marlins 2 games back. Pittsburgh 3.5 back. Cardinals 4 back. And the Cincinnati Reds passed the Washington Nationals yesterday. They're 5 back, and the Nationals falling out of it now 5.5 games out of the race. Meanwhile, in the American League, the Yankees lead the wild card race, but just 2 games ahead of the Boston Red Sox now, and they are 5 games ahead of the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians are 500, 57 and 57. That's good enough right now for the last playoff spot in the American League, but there are 5 teams within 2 games of a playoff spot. The Twins, 1 game back. The Rangers, 1 game back. The Orioles, a game and a half back. The Tigers, a game and a half back. And the Mariners, who are 2 games back. The only 2 teams of all of those that really were buyers, though, were the Guardians and the Mariners. All the other teams basically were sellers at the American League wild card race. So
Mariners did a little bit of both. They did send off Luis Castillo.
They
and
did.
Maybe
That's
one
true.
other guy.
That was dealing from the starting pitching depth, though.
Yeah.
So they did a little more, I think, buying
like
and
us
selling.
trading a reliever to get a bat or
a little
whatever.
kind of a mixed bag for the Mariners. The Rangers did not a lot of either.
They didn't really.
They were just kind of really quiet. Like, hello, anybody there? Texas, Chris Young, are you awake? So I don't know if they're holding and still thinking maybe they can compete. Orioles were clear sellers. Tigers were sellers, but they're not playing bad baseball. They're not out of it, just a game and a half out of a playoff spot. So a lot of interesting going-ons, and you're going to have to keep updating the standings pretty much on a regular basis now that we're post-trade deadline.
I have some interesting going-ons. Adam sent this over while you were talking there during the reach around. So we talked at the beginning of this segment about George Lombard hitting his first career major league home run in his debut with the Yankees last night. And then his little brother, making his professional debut ever, first time ever in minor league, hits a home run on the same night.
Jacob Lombard.
It gets a lot weirder than that, though. Jacob's home run was hit, it was a 99 mile per hour off a slider at a 33-degree launch angle. George was 100.2, so 0.3% or whatever higher, also at a 33% launch angle. Both to left field, both on sliders, both in their second at-bats of the game, and both were against a team called the Cardinals.
Oh. Well, it's genetics, I guess.
How weird.
That's just what they do. Lombards hit it at 100 miles an hour exit velocity against sliders to left field.
33-degree launch angle.
Launch angles. When you give them that pitch.
In their second at-bat.
Well, that scouting report will get out very quickly. You will not see anybody else throwing them sliders in that particular spot for fear of getting a home run hit to left field.
No, that's crazy.
That is wild.
There's a lot of weird stuff there, but searching for that after Adam sent it over, I searched Lombard's name and just seeing some of the many, many comments from Yankees fans. They are about as happy as they've been in a very long time for a new player. I mean, they're saying, we've got our shortstop, finally. Finally, we've got our shortstop for the first time since Jeter, I guess.
They'll find something to complain about tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
You can be happy for a day. Yeah. All right, you asked a question, and Kevin Acey actually had the answer this morning.
Okay.
In the
What was
newsletter.
my question? I already forgot.
Your question was, why don't the Padres start Robbie Ray in such an important game tomorrow rather than pushing him back and letting Walker Buehler start against the
assuming
the
all things are
Diamondbacks.
equal, he's there and he's
and
ready
he
to go.
He
and
will
on
have
rest.
to be activated today, so they absolutely could start him tomorrow. We'll tell you why they won't coming up next in our final segment of Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. He just, here, I'll show you a little. Please don't.
What hurts on you?
Nothing at all.
A little bit.
Not that now.
So let's say
whatever you're about to touch is the only thing.
Let's say
It's gonna hurt.
right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Pretend your knee hurts.
Pretend your knee
It's going to in a second.
right here.
Oh, that is not pleasant.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Final segment, Ben and Woods on a Wednesday. Woodsy will be back tomorrow morning, assuming safe travels from Hawaii. And we're glad to have him back in studio for 3 hours and our Epic Wings, Epic Padres Roundtable. Before we get to some final Padres news and answer the question you had earlier, Paulie, a couple of other local sports notes. First, we have a brand new team in town. Do you have any idea, Paulie, who the Oceanside Shock are?
They are San Diego's newest professional hockey team.
You are correct.
Yeah,
in the Federal Prospects Hockey League.
Didn't know that. I just saw literally a headline.
They announced a new team name and logo yesterday, and they will begin play in Oceanside at Front Wave Arena, I believe on October 10th against Fresno.
What league again?
The Federal Prospects Hockey League. This is a very low minor league
FPHL.
The FPHL.
Is that a feeder league or is it like?
I don't even think it's I think it's like an unaffiliated. I think it's like independent pro minor league hockey.
Okay,
yeah, like indie ball for baseball, but for hockey, I don't think it's technically like a club team. It's not like the Ducks, the Gulls, or the Ducks.
Yeah, we had a couple of those teams growing
affiliate.
up in Seattle and Tacoma.
Seattle, I would imagine it's much more common to play hockey or much closer to Canada and stuff.
Yeah, but we had the two teams. There were the Seattle Thunderbirds and the Tacoma Sabercats, but neither of them were it wasn't AHL. They weren't minor league affiliates of any team, but they seemed like professionals. But I remember going to a couple games as a 9-year-old and going, so wait, they're minor leaguers? No, not really. They're But I'm like, but they're not just guys just playing for fun. But yeah, it's like that independent league. They have a few hockey leagues like that.
Yeah, we also have college football back today in San Diego. I believe right now, in fact, the San Diego State Aztecs are getting on the field for their first preseason workouts, training camp practices ahead of their first game, which is later this month.
Oh, that reminded me, speaking of football,
yeah,
it gets me every year at this time, but kind of weird that we will have NFL football on television tomorrow night. I won't be watching because it's the Panthers and the Cardinals in the Hall of Fame game, but still crazy that when it comes around, it feels like it's earlier and earlier every single year.
I mean, I won't watch. It might be on a television that I see, though, and I'm like, okay, there's football back. And, the first games aren't until, September 10th or something. It's
yeah, we got a while.
We're still a ways away from opening day.
So they shortened preseason games
to 3 games, but somehow we still don't start the season.
Regular season starts later, and the Hall of Fame game is arriving earlier every year.
So, with the Aztecs coming back, not to get anybody overly excited, but the first coaches poll came out yesterday, and sitting there behind about 50 other teams with 2 votes in the others receiving votes are your San Diego State Aztecs, coming off their 9-win season last year and now 3rd year under Coach Sean Lewis. But I was also reading an ESPN piece about, the expanded playoffs and who actually has a shot with the new Pac-12 configuration. Boise State is the overwhelming favorite, as they always are. But if they don't win the Pac-12, and remember, San Diego State beat Boise State last year 17-10 in the regular season, so it could happen that San Diego State is considered one of the group of 6 now teams that, if they won the conference, could potentially be one of the college football playoff, the one that's included. I think UNLV still in the Mountain West. Boise State, I think Memphis was one that I think people were looking at as well. But, I mean, I'm not predicting it. I'm not expecting it. But it's not, I guess people are not ruling out the possibility that San Diego State could end the season in the college football playoff. I'm not going to put my chips, into the middle and go all in on San Diego State football this year. But you know what? I'd rather have a chance than not have a chance to start the season. You're smiling. You're the San Diego State alum here. Do you not want your football team to be nationally prominent and relevant at the end of the season and being talked about as, the upstart kids who are going to
I want San Diego State
football
I
playoff?
want them to disband the football program permanently and put all money and resources towards the basketball team.
Which might be a good idea, because right now, according to Mark Ziegler,
the Gonzaga of California,
the Aztecs basketball team has 5 players, and that's it right now.
Yeah, they need help
because all their transfers are still waiting for visas or eligibility checks, and they've got 3 returners who are out with injury. So they're trying to do practice right now in the summer workouts, and they literally have 5 healthy available players on the entire team right now for Brian Dutcher.
No, I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek, a little facetious. I don't personally really care at all about San Diego State football. I recognize a lot of people do, and that's great. I wish them the best of luck, but I genuinely view college football in particular, more than really any other sport that I can think of, the parity between the haves and the have-nots is so far and beyond anything that we can handle. Yes, San Diego State, if the stars aligned, could eventually somehow squeak into the college football playoffs, and it would be something that we've never seen here before. And they'll lose by 60 points to Ohio State. You know what I mean? The difference, it doesn't even look like you're watching the Rockies versus the Dodgers for an extended time. It's like watching a peewee football team and the Dallas Cowboys, between the Michigans, the Ohio States, the Alabamas, and the schools like San Diego State and the rest of these Mountain West and Pac-12
you're not wrong.
schools.
I mean, I complain about the Dodgers doubling the spending of even the Padres. They're spending 5 or 6 times what teams like the Brewers and Rays, the bottom payroll teams, are spending. In college football, Texas and Ohio State and Alabama, they're probably spending 30 to 50 times what San Diego State is on their football program. When you combine that all together, not just NIL, although that's a big part of it, but you're talking about facilities and recruiting,
alumni
and
network,
just everything that goes into
everything.
it. I mean, this is a rough guess, but I would guess it's somewhere between 30 and 50 times what San Diego State is. So,
There's just that it's not even close. You want to talk about non-level playing field? I mean, it's like watching two other sports. Literally, watch Wyoming versus Nevada, play a football game, and then watch, Auburn LSU or something like that, where it's almost like two different sports. And that's why I just can't get too excited about San Diego State football or any football, around here college-wise.
All right, wrapping up, looking ahead, Padres matchup tonight. As you know, Casey Mize will make his Padres debut, and he's been pretty good of late, coming off a 6-inning, 1-run performance against the Kansas City Royals in his most recent start on July 25th, but gave up just 1 run his previous start before that, 3 runs, 2 runs, 0 runs in 7 innings against the New York Yankees. That was one of his best starts of the season, just a 1-hitter. That was about a month ago, so Padres are getting not only a pitcher who's been good with a 2.7 ERA, but he's been good lately. He's got a whip under 1, so you're not going to see a lot of base runners. Going to keep not going to walk a lot of guys generally. So Casey Mize, spotlight is on him tonight in Game 3 of this series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, which if the Padres win, technically they would hold the tiebreak. They'd be tied with the Diamondbacks and would be a game ahead of them in the season series. So technically they would be in a playoff position if they win that game tonight. They will be opposed by Mitch Bratt, left-hander, going for young 23-year-old left-hander going for the Arizona Diamondbacks, is only making his
5 or 6
sixth start, I think, of the season. He's had some mixed results. Not bad his last time out against the Guardians. Gave up just 1 run in 5 innings, but the time before that, got hit pretty hard by the Nationals, gave up 7 hits and 5 earned runs. He's given up 4 home runs in his 5 starts. I mean, he's been all right, but a lot of base runners, though. 1.84 whip.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hadn't heard of him really at all, and I was doing a little bit of homework and kind of looking at his last few starts. I mean, all I know is that he's walked more guys than he's struck out.
That would be worrisome. Yeah, 4 walks last time, 5 walks the time before that. So you figure the Padres are trying to put a game plan together. Yeah. Throw him into the trajectory machine. Oh, I saw a social media video yesterday of, I don't know who the guy was, but he was facing Mason Miller on a trajectory machine.
Yeah. I saw that.
And it's the first time I've ever actually seen the machine and how it works. It was incredible. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
How it projects the pitcher.
Well, I've seen how they work
before. I hadn't seen it before. I was kind of imagining it in my head. It was way cooler than even my imagination had for how that machine works. And he programmed it with 103-mile-an-hour fastballs and sliders that were both strikes and off the plate and mixing them up and seeing if he could make he must have been some sort of baseball player because he actually did make contact once on a 100-mile-an-hour pitch, which no normal
he was not some guy off the street.
Human being off the street would be able to do. But I thought that was an incredibly cool social media video to see how that trajectory machine was working. All right, finally, been teasing it. I'll give you the answer to the question, at least from the Padres' perspective. You asked earlier, why not start Robbie Ray tomorrow? Better pitcher against a team that is right in front of you at the moment in the wild card race. Why start Walker Buehler?
I did say, especially if they lose tonight and you're looking to split the series and stay in this race for the head-to-head matchup at least. If they lose tonight, I'm like, I think Robbie Ray tomorrow makes a lot more sense than Walker Buehler, but...
And I kind of thought,
we weren't sure is he even here yet.
You do have a good point. He will be here today. He has to be activated today. The Padres will make a roster decision today. So they could start him tomorrow. Kevin Acee writing in his newsletter, though, the rationale, pretty basic. The Diamondbacks, I believe, have the best OPS against left-handed starters in baseball. So if you've got the option to go with a right-hander, and you do with Walker Buehler, they're going to go with the righty and then save Robbie Ray for the matchup against the Houston Astros on Friday. So simply a matter of matchups and looking at the numbers. Doesn't always mean that that's the right decision, but the Padres are going to play it by the numbers and play it by the book and save Robbie Ray for what they think could be a better matchup against the Houston Astros.
Sounds like a pretty classic case of, if it works, it's all good, and nobody says anything. And then if they lose and it doesn't work out, and you go,
look at the gamble they took on Sunday. They gambled by pushing Michael King back to start against the Diamondbacks, and it looked like it worked out perfectly as they win that game on Sunday with the makeshift pitching chaos bullpen game.
Yep.
And then Michael King loses on Monday against the Diamondbacks. So did that strategy work or did it not work? I don't know. It seemed like it was brilliant when they won on Sunday, and then they had Michael King in reserve for Monday, and then they lose that one. And then the game that you worried about, Eduardo Rodriguez, who's been so good all year against Randy Vasquez and maybe pitching chaos, and the Padres go up 8-0 and Randy Vasquez dominates. I mean, baseball is so weird that you can look at all the numbers, you can make all the right decisions, go, this is obvious. We're doing this. It's obvious. And then it just doesn't work out the way you think it's going to.
Yeah, again, this is all kind of working under the guise of if they lost tonight and we're faced with that dilemma tomorrow, which it doesn't sound like there's any dilemma. They've made their decision. And I can understand and respect it. I get matchups and all of that. I would be lying or at least disingenuous if I didn't say that there's still a little part of me, the boomer, the old school, whatever you want to call it, that goes, I don't care about righty lefty. I want the better pitcher in a game that I feel like we need to win. It's different with relief pitchers late in the game when you can kind of see the lanes and you're going to go, okay, we got 3 lefties coming up. Let's go with this guy. But when I'm talking about a starting pitcher who I assume they want to get some length out of, and I look at Robbie Ray versus Walker Buehler, my gut tells me Robbie Ray is the better pitcher 10 times out of 10 right now.
It's funny.
But I totally understand. I don't know what the numbers say exactly that they have. I understand it, but I would be lying if I said there's a little part of me.
I wonder, though, like if it was a playoff game, would you be pitching the more experienced Robbie Ray?
Right. Yeah, if this was a must-win in September, if this was the end of the year, we talked about that 3-game series with the Diamondbacks, win and you're in, are we going to go with Walker Buehler because it's his turn and he has better success against...
Because remember, there was a very good argument in the playoffs last year that the Padres maybe should have started Randy Vasquez instead of Yu Darvish in the playoffs. Yeah. And that they went with the guy who is just the better pitcher, the guy who... It just made more sense.
Oh, I've got my theories on why that decision was made.
Well, yeah, but now you're arguing the other way, that you would rather just see the bigger name start in a bigger game.
No. The better pitcher of late.
Well, no. I meant the better pitcher, like just, career-wise or whatever, at least normally.
Yeah.
Would have been... Yu Darvish certainly had the reputation.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I mean, Walker Buehler has a reputation.
He also had half an arm at
stuff.
the time, but...
Well, that's the thing. But they went with the guy with the half an arm based on
Robbie Ray doesn't
history
have
and track
half an
record.
arm.
I know. I get it. I'm just saying, I wonder if they would make the same decision in a postseason game. Hey, Diamondbacks are good against lefties, so we're going to start the righty, even though we have a really good lefty here standing by.
And I'm not necessarily sitting here saying we need to be managing every game like it's the season's on the line, because we're not there yet, but just looking at the head-to-head with the Diamondbacks specifically, that if they were looking to either split the series or potentially lose that series tomorrow, I understand why the logic there of going with Buehler, but I'm just saying there's a part of me that goes, I kind of want the better pitcher.
All right, I don't want anyone to blame me. I know we didn't get to the Rondo report. Everyone's going to say, oh, Woods is not here. Ben's just shutting Paul down like he normally does.
Yeah.
You told me, you said, I've got a couple stories, but I want to save them for Woods when he comes back. So we didn't do the Rondo report on purpose. It wasn't my fault.
This was by design.
It was by design.
Somebody give you crap already?
No, but I can already picture people going, oh, Ben's here and no Woods and there's no Rondo report.
Look,
he's always just stepping all over Paulie.
I've got a story about how you can go to a nice steak dinner and eat with no clothes on. Does that sound like a story that we'd want Woods' opinion on?
We need Woods' opinion on these things. So we'll have him back tomorrow. That's it for us. Braden and Frank coming up next. For Paulie, I'm Ben. Thanks for joining us on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.